Opportunity. Lin Moyu got some information from the words of the old tree. The words of the old tree coincided with the words of the Demon King, and also corresponded to the words of the water-stop Tianzuan. Lin Moyu had a guess in his heart whether the upheaval in the world they were talking about would be the upheaval in the recovery of the origin continent. The 9 continents sank the 5 continents. Although they sank, the 5 continents still exist. They sank to the bottom of the boundary sea. If the 9 continents want to recover, the most likely thing is to let the sunken 5 continents rise again from the bottom of the boundary sea. Lin Moyu believes that Kuan-Yuan continent has this ability. Doing so is also the simplest way, at least much easier than recasting the 5 continents. But in this case, what about the seal at the bottom of the boundary sea? What about those extraterritorial gods in the seal? If those guys come out, with the power of the origin continent, they can't stop them at all. If so, there is only one way to stop them, allowing those Tao realms on the outer road of the sky to enter the origin continent. Then, needless to say, it must be a terrifying war. This war will affect the entire origin continent, and the aftermath alone is enough to destroy the world. Lin Moyu fantasized about the possibility of that war and the consequences it would bring. He felt that the origin continent might not be able to withstand it. If the 5 continents are to be restored, even if it is just instinct, the origin continent should not bear such a war. The Great Tao will not allow such a war to break out, which is not in line with the interests. And from the punishment suffered by Master Kurong, it can be seen that the Great Tao will not allow the origin continent to be damaged too much. So this war, the Tao will not allow it. Lin Moyu's thoughts are like lightning, and his jumping mind conducts various analyses and searches for various possibilities. Finally, he got a possible answer. There are 2 possibilities for the so-called opportunity. The first is that it is triggered by the origin ancestor land. Every time the origin ancestor land descends, the entire origin continent will be shaken, and it is the only one that may become an opportunity for a dramatic change in the world. The second is the seal at the bottom of the boundary sea. If someone can kill the extraterritorial gods in the seal so that they are no longer a threat to the origin continent, or can reduce the threat to a certain extent, it may also become an opportunity for a dramatic change in the continent. There are 2 possibilities, one is passive and the other is active, both are possible. Lin Moyu feels that if he is the Great Tao, he will definitely choose the latter. The latter is safer and will cause less damage to the origin continent, but it will take time and be extremely difficult. Lin Moyu slowly opened his eyes and heard the voice of the old tree. What are you thinking about? You are in a trance. Lin Moyu said, I had a dream and imagined the grand scene of the restoration of the origin continent. The old tree sighed with some emotion. Back then, the 9 continents were together, the origin was complete, the boundary sea was roaring, and the Great Tao appeared. We in the Great Tao realm could travel freely to the origin continent, and we could teach and impart knowledge everywhere. Anyone with a little talent, even if you can't become a Dao Zun, it's not a problem to become a Tian Zun. All the people practice, except for newborn babies. There are almost no ordinary people. Back then, I was in the center of Antarctica, standing on the frozen soil, preaching to countless tribesmen. The old tree recalled the situation back then and felt comforted. While he missed it, he also felt helpless. Lin Moyu could understand the old tree's emotions. He didn't have any comfort, and he didn't need comfort for the old tree. With the Tao heart of the old tree, he only sighed occasionally, but his Tao heart was as solid as iron and could not be shaken at all. Lin Moyu asked, Old tree, do you know the origin ancestral land? Old tree said, I know a little. The origin ancestral land is a very mysterious place. The time and place of its arrival are never fixed. Sometimes it will be on the origin continent, sometimes it will be in the Tianwai Avenue, even the Destiny Avenue cannot be predicted. After it appears, it will choose some people to enter. Some people have gained a lot from it, and have obtained a lot of benefits, treasures, and cultivation. Some people have stayed in it forever and never came out. But that is a minority, most people still come back. I don't have this opportunity, I have never really entered it, so I don't know what is inside. The origin ancestral land is indeed extremely mysterious, enough to be called the most mysterious place. There is no third. Lin Moyu guessed that the origin ancestral land should not be something from the origin continent. Lin Moyu hesitated for a moment. As far as I know, the Son of the Moon and the Son of the Sun are qualified to enter the origin ancestral land, but they have never come out. The old tree shook his head slightly. You are wrong. The Son of the Moon once went in and came back alive, not that no one has returned. As for the Son of the Sun, there are too few of them. There have been only a few since ancient times, and they are not of much reference value. Lin Moyu got a new piece of information. It is not like what the Demon King said that the Son of the Moon cannot come back after entering the origin ancestral land. This is the benefit of living a long life. The old tree has lived too long and knows much more than the Demon King. Asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. According to the old tree's narration, Lin Moyu has a new understanding of the two origins of the sun and the moon. The sun and the moon are the two origin avenues of the origin continent, and they are also the two most difficult avenues to comprehend. The difficulty of comprehending them is greater than any other avenue. Although they are there day and night and are watched by the world, they are not as mysterious as other avenues. But only those who are recognized by them are qualified to comprehend them. Even so, since ancient times, no one, whether the Son of the Moon or the Son of the Sun, has been able to truly comprehend them. However, one thing is certain, the Son of the Moon or the Son of the Sun are people with strong luck. The origin ancestral land seems to randomly select entrants, but in fact there are certain rules, and it is definitely not random. Lin Moyu guessed that it is probably related to luck and cultivation. The Tao realm cannot be entered, even the Tao master cannot enter. Only those below the Tao realm and with sufficient luck can enter. Lin Moyu said in his heart, it seems that I cannot be promoted to the Tao realm before entering the origin ancestral land. The origin ancestral land, this place has the secrets of the Jiahai world. The Jiahai world must hide a big secret, which must be figured out. For countless years, there have been many sons of the moon, but after entering, only a few have returned, and the proportion of those who return is extremely small. But not coming back doesn't mean they are dead. No one has seen their bodies, including those who didn't come back. And those who came back couldn't tell what happened inside. Their memories seem to have been tampered with only some fragmentary images. What kind of place is the origin ancestral land? Lin Moyu had a feeling that the origin ancestral land was a place he had to go. The secrets of the origin realm alone were worth a trip. In the big world, he had seen the projection of another world, and that world was very similar to the world he lived in his previous life. That world did not belong to the origin continent, nor to other worlds in the Sea of Boundaries. In this case, there is only one possibility, that is, the projection came from other origin realms. The two came to the end of the 8th Pole Glacier, and the old tree whispered, the 9th Pole Glacier is very cold, can you stand? Lin Moyu laughed, if the junior can't stand it, don't you still have you? The old tree laughed, then let's go and meet that old guy. Lin Moyu got too much information from the old tree, even overturning many of his previous cognitions. His understanding of the various things on the origin continent became clearer and clearer. Lin Moyu always believed that the clearer the understanding of the essence of the world, the greater the help to cultivation. The process of cultivation is the process of constantly understanding the essence of the world. When one day, he can analyze all the bits and pieces of the whole world from the root, then he can create a new origin continent. All the avenues, the whole world, will be controlled by himself. This is the pursuit in Lin Moyu's heart. He has never told anyone, and even rarely told himself. He suppressed this idea in the deepest part of his heart. All he can do is to keep moving towards the goal. The wind of the 9th pole is very cold. Dao Zun Jiujie is here, and he will tremble and can't hold on for too long. The old tree whispered, the 9th pole is closest to the endless 763 glacier. The endless glacier is the center of this treasure, so the temperature of the 9th pole is very low, and the cold air carries the power of the great Tao. If you can't bear it, tell me, don't force it. Lin Moyu felt the coldness coming towards him. It was really cold enough, and it only made him feel cold. The essence of the cold air has not changed, and the great Tao of power has already made it immune. Lin Moyu said, "Thank you, old tree, I can still bear it." The old tree saw that Lin Moyu was speechless and nodded. "Okay, come with me, I have sensed the breath of the old tongue." The sensing power of the great Tao realm is indeed strong. When Lin Moyu has not found the direction, the old tree already knows where to go. Lin Moyu knows very well that although his soul is also an 8th level innate soul, and it is still in the late stage, it is not necessarily worse than the old tree. But his realm is too low, and there is a huge gap between him and the old tree in the use of soul power. There are no glacier tea trees on the land of the 9th pole, but there are endless glaciers. The two walked on the glacier at a very fast speed. Gradually, Lin Moyu sensed a strong breath, which came from a distant place, still far away from him. The old tree chuckled and said, "How about it, you feel it?" Lin Moyu nodded, indicating that he had felt it. The old tree laughed, as expected of the son of Tyene. "Your soul's acuity is not weaker than those who have just entered the Tao realm. Although I don't know what level your soul has reached, I think it won't be low." Lin Moyu knew that the old tree had seen something, so he didn't hide it at the moment. "Junior was lucky, and my soul entered the Xiantian realm." The old tree paused and looked at him with surprise. Sure enough, it really reached the Xiantian realm. "Congratulations, my friend, the door to the Tao realm has been opened to you, and your future achievements are unlimited." Lin Moyu said, "Thank you for your good words, senior." The old tree looked at Lin Moyu's unsurprised look and said with a smile, "It seems that someone has told you." Lin Moyu said, "Now on the Origin continent, there are still several seniors in the Tao realm. They have a good relationship with me and have told me a lot of things." The old tree said, "In that case, you should practice well and enter the Tao realm as soon as possible." Lin Moyu said, "I will, but I still want to go to the Origin ancestor land." The old tree looked at Lin Moyu and, "Lin Moyu, you are the son of Tyene. Once you go to the Origin ancestral land, you will not be able to come back due to probability." Lin Moyu said, "I have a mystery in my heart, and it may only be solved when I go to the Origin ancestral land." "Is this mystery so important? You are even willing to take such a risk?" The old tree looked at Lin Moyu, as if in his eyes, Lin Moyu's decision was not quite right. Lin Moyu said, "It is indeed very important. If this mystery is not solved, my heart will be unstable. And I think that the Origin ancestral land is not a place where you can never return. If you are not careful, it will become an opportunity for you to relax in your later years." The old tree nodded slowly. "If you really think so, then do it. For cultivators like us, the most important thing is to face our hearts and do whatever we want without too many concerns." Lin Moyu smiled and said nothing more. This is his character. Once he decides on something, he will definitely do it. The two walked for a full hour, and they didn't know how far they had walked. Lin Moyu saw a ball of light explode in the distant sky. A ball of flame appeared in the white sky. The flame was like the source of the sun, shining on the world. But the strange thing was that the light emitted by this ball of flame had no temperature, but made people feel colder. The old man said, "This is Lao Gu's Hanyang's secret method. It seems that he is fighting with someone." Lin Yu had never heard of the Xianyang secret method. The old tree said, "Lao Gu once had an adventure. His bloodline changed and became the Cold Plum bloodline, which can be passed on to the tribe. Lao Gu created two major secrets based on the Cold Plum bloodline, and this Cold Sun secret is one of them. The Cold Sun secret looks like the scorching sun, but it is extremely cold inside. It is yang outside and yin inside. Even the glacier beast can't stand it." Although the distance is still far, Lin Moyu has already felt the power of the Cold Sun secret. If he faces the Cold Sun secret, he may not be able to stand it for even half a second. And the range of the Cold Sun secret is very large, like a map cannon. Even if he uses the undead army as a meat shield, it will be useless. Countless cold air is mobilized by the secret method and gathers towards the scorching sun in the distant sky. The old tree stopped far away, and then stood in front of Lin Moyu. In this Jiuji glacier, the power of the cold sun secret is stronger than the outside world. The power in his body rolled, and several huge leaves appeared in front of him and turned into shields, protecting the two of them tightly. Immediately afterwards, the cold sun secret broke out. The cold swept through like a torrent. The secret method did not distinguish between friend and foe, and everything within the range of the secret method was frozen to death. After releasing all the cold air, the scorching sun fell down with a bang. Like a meteor hitting the earth, the glacier shook continuously, and flames rose from the earth. The flame only had an appearance but no temperature, but the next second, the temperature of the flame sublimated rapidly, instantly rising to a terrifying level. Lin Moyu saw plum blossoms rising in the flames, and then the plum blossoms exploded, and the area within 1,000 miles was blown to pieces. Dense cracks appeared on the glacier. The cracks were not deep, which was enough to show that this secret method was extremely powerful. If it weren't for the old tree protecting him, he would have been killed by mistake. After several gusts, the cold air and the blazing fire disappeared, but the old tree did not withdraw its defense. He whispered, "It's not over yet." As a comrade in life, the old tree knew the ancestors of the Gu family very well and knew that it was not over yet. As soon as the blazing cold air disappeared, dense runes suddenly appeared in the sky. They were all divine runes. These 1.4 divine runes were extremely complex, jumping and flying in the air, forming an ancient and terrifying formation. The divine runes dropped countless attacks and fell from the sky. It didn't seem to kill the enemy. All the enemies had been killed by the Han Yang secret method. The rune formation was more like cleaning the battlefield. Everything disappeared wherever the attack passed, and all the debris turned into ashes, leaving only the flat glacier land. Until the magic talisman disappeared and the formation disappeared, the old tree put away the defense and said loudly, "Old Gu, do you welcome me so much?" A few seconds later, a hearty voice came from the front, "How can I welcome you? Come and help." The old tree frowned slightly. "There is still. Don't go here, go over there and take a look." As soon as the voice fell, the old tree rushed out, and a big tree appeared where it was originally, which was the old tree's clone. The old tree went to help, and also did not forget Lin Moyu, using his clone to protect him. Lin Moyu didn't think of asking the old tree for protection, but he didn't reject his good intention. Indeed, with his cultivation, if he went over, he would be in danger. The space around him twisted, summoning Su Pu. "Go and have a look." Su Pu rushed over in response. Through Su Pu's vision, Lin Moyu could also get a glimpse of the whole picture. With Su Pu's realm, as long as he didn't participate in the war, the aftermath alone would not kill him. As long as the resurrected didn't die, it didn't matter how seriously they were injured, they could recover after they were taken back. With the help of Su Pu's vision, Lin Moyu saw the war. A giant who was 1,000 meters tall, waving a huge sword, was fighting a man in black. The runes on the sword flashed, and every attack could form a formation, and the formation would attack together with the sword. The function of the formation was very simple, which was to replicate the attack. The stronger the attack of the sword, the stronger the attack replicated by the formation, which was equivalent to doubling the battle experience. The Gu family ancestor's sword was as fast as lightning, with thousands of swords coming out every second. The shadows of the swords completely enveloped the man in black. Lin Moyu recognized at a glance that the man in black was the Black Blood Fist Saint 28. He waved a pair of black iron fists and confronted the Gu family ancestor's sword head-on. The sword was sharp but could not hurt his fists. Most of the attacks of the Gu family ancestor were blocked by his fists. Occasionally, a few attacks landed on him, but it only made his body tremble slightly, without any substantial damage. The attack power of the Black Blood Fist Saint was not as good as that of the Black Blood Sword Saint, but his defense was much stronger than that of the Black Blood Sword Saint. Now seeing it with my own eyes, it is even more confirmed. The defense is indeed very strong. The Gu family ancestor is a genuine Dao realm. In Lin Moyu's opinion, he is stronger than the tree elder. Even if it is Master Ku Rong, facing the Gu family ancestor, a series of attacks will not kill him or be seriously injured. But the Black Blood Fist Saint was unscathed, showing how strong his defense is. The old man arrived and threw the cane in his hand. In an instant, it turned into countless vines and fell down, instantly entangling the Black Blood Fist Saint. The ancestor of the Gu family shouted angrily, "Cut!" The divine rune on the sword shone, and the aura of the sword instantly became several times stronger. The sharp aura swept out, and countless wounds suddenly appeared on Su Pu's body. The attack had not yet landed, and the aftermath had not occurred. The aura alone caused Su Pu to suffer skin injuries. So strong. Lin Moyu asked Su Pu to stay away. He was afraid that if Su Pu could not hold on and really died there, he would lose a lot. What he was worried about did not happen. The ancestor of the Gu family's attack was extremely concentrated, turning into an extremely sharp knife light, passing through the body of the Black Blood Fist Saint. The body of the Black Blood Fist Saint was chopped into two. Boom! The body of the Black Blood Fist Saint exploded, turning into countless black bloodlines, piercing through the void, escaping from another space to the distance, and quickly disappeared. The old tree whispered, "You can still escape." The ancestor of the Gu family put away his sword, and his body quickly shrank and returned to normal. He looked at the old tree. "Why did you come down? What's the situation up there?" It seemed like he was questioning, but anyone could hear that his words were full of concern, as well as the joy of meeting an old friend after many years. Just by hearing this sentence, Lin Moyu knew that the ancestor of the Gu family should be a person with a cold face but a warm heart. The old tree laughed. "I can come down. Of course I have dealt with the guy up there. You are behind this time. Tell me, how many times did he escape from you?" The ancestor of the Gu family snorted. "You, an old guy, can handle it? I'm a fool to believe you." The old tree laughed. "Believe it or not, it's important." The ancestor of the Gu family obviously didn't believe it. "Stop talking nonsense. What are you doing here?" The old tree said, "There is a little guy who wants to find you, and I am here to lead the way." Lin Moyu walked over and saluted to the ancestor of the Gu family. "Junior Lin Moyu, meet the senior." The ancestor of the Gu family looked at Lin Moyu. "How did you get here as a 4th-level Taoist master? Who opened the formation for you?" Before Lin Moyu spoke, the old tree snorted. "Old Gu, why are you so rude? The little guy is my friend after all. You should be a little more polite." The ancestor of the Gu family looked at the old man, and I was not being rude. The old man snorted. "You know whether I am polite or not, Lin Xiaoyu. This guy has a strange temper. After all, his last name is Gu, and it is normal for him to be a little strange. You don't need to mind it too much. His name is Gu Hanyu. You can just call him by his name, or call him Gu Gutu." Lin Moyu could naturally hear that the old man was actually speaking for Gu Hanyu. He was afraid that Gu Hanyu would be rude to him and then turn around and leave. The old man knew very well that it would be difficult for them to kill the remnant soul of the Black Blood Fist Saint without his help. As long as the remnant soul of the Black Blood Fist Saint was not killed, they could not leave and could not be free. Lin Moyu naturally would not call him by his name, and after knowing Gu Hanyu's temper, he would not be angry at some of his words. Lin Moyu said, "It is the formation that the current Saint Master of Hansui Holy Land, Gu Hanyu, opened for the younger generation." Gu Hanyu raised his eyebrows. "It seems that they still built up forces here according to my instructions. The history of Hansui Holy Land is much longer than that of Gu Hanyu. The Jiuji Glacier appeared in the Origin Catastrophe, and Hansui Holy Land appeared a long time after the Origin Catastrophe ended. During this period of time, there were other forces besides Jiuji Glacier. After the appearance of Hansui Holy Land, those forces were driven away, and Bingji Glacier truly belonged to Hansui Holy Land." Lin Moyu said, "Hansui Holy Land has been established for many years, Jiuji Glacier is in the Holy Land, and the Gu family is doing well. Now it has become the top force in the human race, and Senior Gu does not need to worry. As he said that, Lin Moyu took out the blood jade card, which contained the blood left by Gu Hanbing, and Gu Hanyu would definitely be able to sense it. Gu Hanyu took the jade card and took a look at it. His expression remained unchanged and he still looked at Lin Moyu. Although I didn't give any special instructions, not everyone can enter Jilji Glacier, because my family will open the formation for you for 600. Lin Moyu said, I and the current Saint Lord of Hansui Holy Land are in love and want to marry her, but there is a rule in the Holy Land that the Saint Lord cannot marry. It is said that this rule was established by you, and the younger generations of the Gu family dare not change it without authorization. So I came to you, hoping that you can change the rule. Gu Hanyu's face changed slightly. Bullshit, when did an I Ching set such a rule? Lin Moyu asked curiously, you haven't said it? Gu Hanyu said firmly, of course not. A man and a woman are in love, of course they can get married. What does it have to do with whether they are Saint Lords or not? Finding a Taoist partner is a common thing in the Tao realm. What's wrong? A Saint Lord is not a unique treasure, so why can't he marry? The old tree listened to it and laughed. I like what you said. Your temper is sometimes useful. Lin Moyu thought for a while. Hansui Holy Land does have this rule, and it is said that it was passed down from our ancestors. The source should be you. Think about what you said at the beginning. Gu Hanyu frowned and thought, although countless years have passed, the memory of the Tao realm will not be lost. He whispered, could it be that sentence? The old tree asked with a smile, what did you remember? Gu Hanyu said, I just told them to do their best to ensure the blood inheritance. Could it be that there is something wrong with this sentence? Snap. The old tree slapped his thigh. That's right, there is something wrong with this sentence. Chapter 3374, but why should I change? The best way to ensure blood inheritance is to marry within the clan and not marry outside. Of course, this is not absolute. Some people with weak blood can marry outside, but those with strong blood cannot marry outside. In fact, many families use this method to ensure the purity of their blood. Although the human race does not have special blood like the demon race, the human race also pays attention to the purity of their own blood. There is a saying in the human race that those who are not of my race must have different hearts. This saying can be applied to the entire human race or a family. The rules of the Hansui Holy Land were established and improved from generation to generation. To become a holy master, the blood must be pure. Then, in order to ensure blood inheritance, the holy master must not marry outside. Either do not marry, or find a clan member with the same strong blood to marry within the clan. Gu Hanyu is naturally not stupid, and he figured out what was going on at once. He whispered, I didn't mean that back then. Lin Moyu said, it doesn't matter what you meant back then. You can set the rules back then, and you can change them now. Shu Lao said, that's right, the rules are yours, you can just change them, it's just a matter of words. Gu Hanyu nodded, it makes sense, but why should I change it? Ah. Lin Moyu and Shu Lao were stunned at the same time, looking at Gu Hanyu very puzzled. Gu Hanyu's train of thought seemed to be different from what they thought. Gu Hanyu said, I am the ancestor of the Gu family after all. If you want to be the son-in-law of my Gu family, you must let me know whether you are qualified. So that's what happened. Lin Moyu breathed a sigh of relief. How do you want me to prove it? Shu Lao snorted, old Gu, isn't it enough to prove that Lin Xiaoyu has come here? Gu Hanyu said, there are many ways to get here. Maybe he has a powerful magic weapon to protect himself, or maybe he has someone escorting him, but that's not enough. The old tree frowned and snorted angrily, what's wrong with you? You were stubborn before, and after so many years, you've become even worse. To tell you the truth, it was Lin Moyu who helped to clear the black blood remnant soul of the 8th pole, otherwise do you think I can be free here? Gu Hanyu looked at Lin Moyu, did he kill the black blood remnant soul? Advertisement. He obviously didn't believe it. Even he, a Tao realm, couldn't kill the black blood remnant soul. How could Lin Moyu, a little guy in the fourth realm of Dao Zone, be so virtuous and capable? Don't believe it, right? The old tree snorted coldly. Lin Moyu, show this guy your Dao Jinghua. Lin Moyu flipped his palm and a ball of flames rose up. The fire of the burning world is different from ordinary flames. It has a special aura that can be seen at a glance. Gu Hanyu, who was at the Dao realm, could naturally recognize it. He couldn't help but whispered, "Heavenly Dao essence." The old tree laughed, looking very proud. "Now you know, Lin Xiaoyu can even control the Dao essence fire. Marrying you as a descendant in the next life is the blessing you have accumulated in your previous life. Being able to control the Dao essence fire means that Lin Moyu's talent, luck, and future are all difficult to estimate." Gu Hanyu said, "Since ancient times, there have been people who can control the Dao essence fire, but only the truly strong can do it. You have controlled the Dao essence fire at the fourth level of Dao Zun. It is indeed unprecedented. No wonder you can kill the black blood remnant soul." Seeing the Dao essence fire, Gu Hanyu completely recognized Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu said, "The senior hasn't said it yet. How do you want to prove it later?" Gu Hanyu said, "You have the Dao essence fire, which is enough to prove your ability. How about doing me a favor?" Lin Moyu said, "Do you want me to find a way to kill the Black Blood Fist Saint?" Gu Hanyu nodded, "Yes, this guy is too cunning. Once he can't beat him, he will turn into blood and escape. I have been chasing him for countless years and fighting with him countless times, but he escaped 10 times in the end." Lin Moyu said, "I have a way to trap him. Even if he turns into blood and escapes, he can't escape. But I don't understand one thing. Shouldn't the Black Blood Fist Saint be trapped under the glacier? Why did it come out? There is no glacier tea tree here. The black blood remnant soul should be suppressed under the glacier. How could it escape?" Gu Hanyu said, "The 9th pole is different from the previous 8 poles. The black blood remnant soul here is not suppressed by the glacier, so I am here to prevent it from escaping. I and the old tree drive the strange treasure together, but our abilities are limited, and our control over the strange treasure is also limited. The soul of the Black Blood Fist Saint was smashed, and the part in the ice-ending glacier is slightly larger, and most of the power of the strange treasure is also concentrated there. The next is the 9th pole and the 8th pole. The power of the strange treasure that we can drive can only be suppressed by choosing one of the 2 poles. I am slightly stronger, so I am here to control the 9th pole, freeze the remnant soul of the 8th pole, and let the old tree guard it." The old tree shouted on the spot, "Old Gu, what you said is not true. How am I not as good as you?" Gu Hanyu did not argue. "I didn't say you are not as good as you." Advertisement. The old tree picked up the cane and pointed at Gu Hanyu. "You clearly said that you are slightly stronger." Gu Hanyu said, "I'm telling the truth. You are in the middle stage of the 8th level and 8th soul, and I am in the late stage." Shu Lao said, "Indeed, my realm is a little bit lower than yours, but so what? I am a glacier tea tree. If we really fight, you are my opponent." Gu Hanyu did not comment. "Your realm is indeed not as good as mine." Shu Lao was so angry that he screamed, "I will fight you and see who is more powerful." Gu Hanyu said, "We can't take it if the mission is not completed." The 2 of them talked back and forth, and Lin Moyu almost couldn't hold back. These 2 people are really funny. Shu Lao has kind eyes, but his personality is like a child. Gu Hanyu is cold on the outside but warm on the inside, and he speaks seriously, almost making Shu Lao angry to death. Lin Moyu did not persuade them, letting them quarrel to their heart's content. It is estimated that such things have happened a lot between the 2. Sure enough, the 2 quarreled for a long time but finally didn't fight. But from their conversation, Lin Moyu already understood what was going on. The black blood remnant soul of the 9th pole has never been suppressed from beginning to end. Gu Hanyu and the opponent have fought countless times. In terms of strength, Gu Hanyu is stronger. He has won countless times. But he can't really kill the black blood remnant soul. The opponent is not only strong in defense but also strong in vitality. Every time he is repelled, he can recover de nouveau Zhao in a short time. Every time the opponent turns into blood and escapes, he can integrate into another time and space. Gu Hanyu is helpless. The old tree seems to be tired of arguing and looks at Lin Moyu angrily. Do you have any way to get that guy? I have to complete the task quickly and then return to the Heavenly Avenue to have a good fight with this guy to see who is stronger and who is weaker. Gu Hanyu ignored the old tree and said to Lin Moyu, this matter is probably not easy, you can think about it carefully. Lin Moyu had already had an idea. I already have a solution. It's not very difficult. I just need to make some preparations. But I still need the cooperation of the seniors, and when I'm ready, I'll lead the Black Blood Remnant Soul here. Gu Hanyu said, no problem. Lin Moyu looked at the sky. There should be a formation you set up here. Please show it and tell me about the formation. I also need to set up a formation, so I'm afraid it will cause a conflict. Okay. Gu Hanyu agreed very happily and threw a jade card to Lin Moyu. You will know it at a glance. Gu Hanyu was very generous, so generous that Lin Moyu was a little surprised. The jade card contained a lot of information, almost the functions and explanations of the entire set of divine runes, as well as the method of using divine runes to set up formations. Through this jade card, Lin Moyu could almost completely understand the basic structure of divine runes from scratch, and even use divine runes to set up formations. Gu Hanyu said, not everyone can master the formation. It mainly depends on talent. Since you know the formation, you should be able to understand it. His voice was a little cold, but Lin Moyu knew that he was not really cold. If you really don't understand, you can ask, and Gu Hanyu will not hesitate to answer. Lin Moyu said, Junior, take a look first, and ask the senior if you don't understand. Gu Hanyu hummed lightly and didn't speak. The old tree said, Old Gu, you may not know that we have been here for countless years, and the world outside has changed a long time ago. Our method of setting up formations is completely different from the current formations. He was actually talking to Lin Moyu halfway, telling Lin Moyu to ask if he didn't understand. After all, the method of setting up the array of the divine talisman was very different from the current array, and it was almost two completely different methods. It was not shameful to ask. Gu Hanyu raised his eyebrows. The array method has changed? Shu Lao said, it's not a little change, but a big change. Although I don't understand the array, I can still see this. Your method may not be understood by Lin Moyu in a short time. Similarly, if Lin Moyu tells you the current method of setting up the formation, you will not be able to understand it in a short time. Gu Hanyu whispered, all methods return to their origins. No matter how the formation method changes, it is still the same. If you are really talented, you can naturally find the right way from the changes. The old tree shook his head and sighed. You just don't want to say a few pleasant words. Gu Hanyu said, just tell the truth. If you want to listen, you can listen. If you don't want to listen, it doesn't matter. Facing the stubborn Gu Hanyu, the old tree was helpless. Lin Moyu was completely immersed in the ocean of divine talismans at this moment. He was in a state of concentration. He didn't hear a word of the conversation between the old tree and Gu Hanyu. He had studied divine talismans before, but without anyone to teach him and without any divine talisman information, his research progress was very slow. Some of the gains he got, as well as his own various guesses, he didn't know if they were correct. At this time, the jade token given by Gu Hanyu made Lin Moyu felt a sense of sudden enlightenment. His previous guesses about the divine talisman were verified, some of which were correct and some were wrong. Chawa, leaving the correct ones and erasing the wrong ones, Shu Moyu began to embark on the road of divine talismans. Lin Moyu did not start learning divine talismans immediately, but explored the essence of divine talismans. He knew very well that as long as the essence of anything was thoroughly studied, it would be more effective to learn it. Knowing the reason is easier to know the truth. Looking at the information about the divine talisman in the jade card, for some reason, Lin Moyu felt an inexplicable sense of familiarity again. This feeling was very strange, as if he had felt this familiarity when he first saw the rune. It was as if he had touched the rune at some point, or even drawn it himself. Later, when he was studying the array of runes, this sense of familiarity also appeared vaguely, but it was not as strong as when he first saw the rune. However, this time, when he really came into contact with the essence of the divine rune, the sense of familiarity appeared, and it was extremely strong, stronger than when he first saw the rune. The inexplicable and strong sense of familiarity brought Lin Moyu unimaginable benefits. He had a thorough understanding of all kinds of knowledge about the divine rune, and could draw inferences from one thing to another. In a very short time, Lin Moyu had already found the commonalities between the divine rune and the rune, and also knew the similarities and differences between the divine rune formation in the past and the current formation. It turns out that the divine rune is not a single rune, it is the fusion of the body and the rune. You can draw runes with soul power, but the divine rune needs some special materials and soul power to draw it. No wonder I couldn't understand it before. The senior who comprehended the divine rune is really a genius. Before, Lin Moyu had tried to draw the divine rune, but he never succeeded once. Imitating it doesn't work, and copying it doesn't work either. Lin Moyu's imitation is not a simple imitation of form, but using his keen induction to adjust his soul vibration frequency to the same degree as the divine rune vibration frequency, but he still failed. Those failures once made Lin Moyu was disappointed. He realized that something must be missing. I didn't know what was missing before, but now I finally know. The power contained in the magic rune is not just soul power, but some special substances fused into the soul power. These substances can be various natural treasures or other things that contain powerful power. The most commonly used is the origin crystal. Use soul power to refine the origin crystal, fuse it with it, and turn it into ink. It seems that the soul power has not changed at all, but the inside has changed. Use this as ink to draw the magic rune, and then use the magic rune to form a formation, and you have the foundation of the weapon formation. In addition to the characteristics of the magic rune itself, the magic rune formation can be directly regarded as a perfect formation, which is equivalent to the fusion of the weapon formation and rune. In addition, in order to play the special effect of the magic rune, its structure is also essentially different from the rune. It is more complex, more mysterious, and closer to the formation. The weapon formation, the rune formation, and the rune are actually the product of the magic rune split and simplified. The senior who split the divine talisman was indeed a genius, but he took the wrong path. Lin Moyu finally understood why none of the current array masters truly comprehended the great way of arrays, and no one achieved enlightenment through arrays. When everyone thought that arrays were just an external force, they didn't know that they had taken the wrong path. If you take the wrong path, no matter how far you go, you can't reach the end. Now Lin Moyu finally saw how to take the right path. Although the previous path was wrong, those paths have become experience and will not be wasted. After seeing through the essence of the divine talisman, Lin Moyu did not immediately learn to comprehend the divine talisman. The divine talisman is extremely mysterious and complex. It takes a lot of time to truly master it. Now is not the time. Lin Moyu skipped the basics and went to see the divine talisman array arranged by Gu Hanyu. This divine talisman array is called the meteorite array. If it is changed to the current array level, it is equivalent to the 8th level array, which is quite powerful. The 8th level formation cannot threaten the Black Blood Remnant Soul, but it is enough to deal with the Glacier Beast, and Yin Shui mainly uses it to clean up the battlefield. In this 9th pole glacier, Gu Hanyu arranged a large number of meteorite formations, which allowed him to fight the Black Blood Remnant Soul in various places. In addition to the meteorite formation, there are some other divine rune formations. The divine rune formations are combined together to form a tight defense line. Over the years, the Black Blood Remnant Soul and the Glacier Beast have never been able to break through this defense line. Gu Hanyu trapped them tightly and it was difficult to get in. After understanding the meteorite formation, Lin Moyu already knew what to do. Pieces of origin crystals flew out and flew towards the void. Lin Moyu suddenly started to arrange the formation, and Gu Hanyu showed a little surprise on his face. How much time has passed? Less than an hour at most. What can be done in an hour? I am afraid that even 1/10,000th of the content in the Jade card cannot be read. Arranging the formation within the range of his own meteorite formation, aren't you afraid of causing conflicts between the formations, and then some unpredictable things will happen? Gu Hanyu's first feeling was that Lin Moyu was too reckless, and he shook his head slightly. The old tree also had a similar feeling, knowing that learning the formation is not a matter of overnight, and it takes a lot of years of comprehension to achieve it. The formation masters he knew took thousands of years to comprehend the formation. Little friend Lin, it seems a bit too reckless. The old tree thought so in his heart, and gave Gu Hanyu a look, hoping that Gu Hanyu would watch it, at least not let the formation conflict. But Gu Hanyu turned a blind eye, as if he didn't see it. The old tree knew that Gu Hanyu wanted Lin Moyu to retreat when he saw the difficulty, so that he could realize how reckless he was. The old tree said nothing about this. He knew Gu Hanyu's temper very well. Since he had already made up his mind, it would be useless for him to say more. It would be better not to say anything. Pieces of origin crystals flew out and quickly fell to the designated position. The origin crystals were connected to each other with Lin Moyu's soul power as the link. At the same time, Lin Moyu drew runes. Extremely complex runes flew out from his fingertips and were also combined to form a more complex formation. The runes drawn by Lin Moyu have reached an extremely complex level. Their structure is three-dimensional. Even ordinary Dao Zun may feel dazzled after taking a few glances. But in Lin Moyu's hands, these three-dimensional runes cannot form a more complex formation. Lin Moyu's movements are even more smooth, like a visual feast. Even Gu Hanyu couldn't help but look at Lin Moyu differently. In his opinion, the difficulty of these runes is no weaker than many basic divine runes. In other words, if Lin Moyu draws the divine runes, he can also draw some basic divine runes easily. Gradually, Gu Hanyu's eyes changed, and the disdain in his eyes disappeared. Is this the current formation? It is indeed a little different from the divine rune formation. He could see that both the formation and the rune formation were actually things separated from the divine rune. Both things are simpler than the divine rune, and no matter which one is taken out alone, the effect is not as good as the divine rune. But if the two are integrated with each other, the effect can be as close to the divine rune as possible. It's just that the difficulty of completing the integration is quite high, which is higher than the difficulty of directly drawing the divine rune. In this way, if Lin Moyu can integrate the two, once he uses the divine rune to arrange the formation, he will also be an extremely powerful formation master. After watching for a while, as the formation became more and more perfect, Gu Hanyu's eyes showed a solemn look and even a hint of surprise. He found that when Lin Moyu arranged the formation, he avoided his meteorite formation and did not have any conflict with his light isolating formation. If it happens once or twice, it is still accidental, but if it happens 8 or 10 times, it is not accidental. In other words, Lin Moyu already knows the locations of each node of the meteorite array, so he can avoid it perfectly. Impossible, how could he master the meteorite array in such a short time? Gu Hanyu couldn't accept it. The meteorite array was his masterpiece, and it was a high-level divine array. Even he spent a lot of time to master the meteorite array. How could such a complex array be mastered just by saying so? Even if the entire array was spread out in front of him, it would take 100 years to explain it. Gu Hanyu didn't believe it, but what happened next made him believe it. When Lin Moyu had arranged most of the array, he suddenly stopped and said to Gu Hanyu, "Senior, it's settled." As he said this, he turned his 2 fingers into blades, and with his soul power as the tip, he gently slashed forward. A light sound came from the space, as if something was broken. Gu Hanyu's eyes trembled suddenly, and he stared at the sky. Lin Moyu did not pay attention to Gu Hanyu's expression, and continued to arrange the formation. The old tree curiously transmitted the voice, "Old Gu, what happened?" Gu Hanyu was shocked for a few seconds before replying. He broke my meteorite formation. The old tree was also stunned on the spot as if struck by lightning. He knew the meaning of Gu Hanyu's words too well, and couldn't help asking, how did he do it? Gu Hanyu said, how do I know? Gu Hanyu didn't dare to believe it, but had to believe it. The formation arranged by Lin Moyu just now finally conflicted with the meteorite formation, and the position of one formation node overlapped and could not be avoided. So Lin Moyu said sorry, and then used the simplest method, directly using his soul power to induce the power of the avenue to cut off this node of the meteorite formation. In this way, the meteorite array was equivalent to being cracked, and its effect was greatly reduced. Asterisk. But the entire meteorite array still exists and has not collapsed. Being able to do this shows that Lin Moyu has truly understood all the structures of the meteorite array. After being silent for a few seconds, Gu Hanyu had to admit he really saw through the meteorite array. His talent in formation is far superior to mine. At this time, Gu Hanyu felt a little bitter. He was a Dao realm, but his talent in formation was not as good as that of the little guy in the fourth realm of Dao Zone in front of him. Moreover, Lin Moyu has only lived for about 3,000 years. He can cultivate to the fourth realm of Dao Zone, which is already a rare genius. He can also master the formation to this extent. This kind of talent makes people feel terrible just thinking about it. Gu Hanyu had a feeling in his heart that Lin Moyu's future achievements might exceed everyone's imagination. 0. Finally, Lin Moyu's sealing array was arranged, and the double arrays of the instrument array and the talisman array were perfectly integrated. The 8th level sealing array was comparable to some 9th level formations. If we only talk about the level, the sealing array is not inferior to the meteorite array. Once you are trapped in it below the Dao realm, there is almost no possibility of escape. Even if you are in the Dao realm, you will be trapped for a long time. But it is not over yet. Lin Moyu moved his mind and the avenue of space suddenly appeared. Gu Hanyu and Shu Lao said in unison, avenue of space. They were obviously a little surprised that Lin Moyu could master the avenue of space. The avenue of space is not something that any genius can master. Lin Moyu said, the remnant black blood soul can turn into blood and escape. I found that it can penetrate space when escaping with blood, so we need to add the avenue of space in the formation to limit its ability, which is considered as an insurance. Gu Hanyu said, it is indeed more appropriate to do so. The old tree said, the more fully we prepare, the greater the chance of killing it. That guy is very cunning. There is only one chance. It will be difficult to fool him the second time. The remnant black blood soul of the 9th pole is not suppressed under the glacier. Once it wants to hide, it will not be so easy to find it. So we must be fully prepared and kill it with one strike. Lin Moyu thought for a while. In this case, let's add another insurance. Boom! Amid the roar, another avenue emerged. The avenue of time and the avenue of space, like two dragons circling and intersecting. Gu Hanyu whispered, avenue of time. Lin Moyu said, I will merge the power of the avenue of space and the avenue of time to form the power of time and space. This should be foolproof. Gu Hanyu and the old tree were speechless. It would be fine if he was young, but his realm was not low, and he had comprehended many avenues. It would be fine if he had comprehended many avenues, but he had comprehended the avenues of time and space, which were half real and half virtual, and extremely difficult to comprehend. Not only did he comprehend the two avenues, but he could also merge them to form the history of time and space. Not only was his realm of cultivation, his comprehension of the avenues, but even his attainments and formations were so high. They really wanted to ask, what else do you not know? Watching Lin Moyu use the power of time and space to cover the sealing array, causing it to fall into another layer of time and space and disappear completely. Even he could not sense the existence of the sealing array. Gu Hanyu finally couldn't help asking, how many avenues have you comprehended? Lin Moyu did not hide it, just 2. 1. The old tree screamed, 6. Lin Moyu nodded, yes, 6. Gu Hanyu immediately asked, "Do you have a Phantom Avenue?" 560. Lin Moyu said, "Yes, the Avenue of Luck and the Avenue of Strength." The old tree suddenly realized, "No wonder you are not afraid of the cold, you are immune to it." As a great avenue, he obviously knows something about the greatest avenue in history. Gu Hanyu continued to ask, "What is the level of your physical body?" Lin Moyu said, "Just reached the 7th level of Dao Zun." At this time, the old tree added, "His soul has reached the innate, and there is no problem in achieving the great avenue." Gu Hanyu's mood at the moment could not be expressed in words. There were 6 avenues, and 2 of them were illusory avenues. To be able to comprehend an illusory avenue was the dream of all practitioners. No one in the avenue realm that he knew could comprehend an illusory avenue. And in the world of the avenue realm, those who comprehend illusory avenues have a natural sense of superiority. Lin Moyu not only comprehended 2 at once. Gu Hanyu's mouth twitched slightly. He wanted to say something, but he didn't know what to say. The atmosphere seemed a little awkward. The old tree broke the awkward atmosphere in time. "Now the formation is complete, just lead the black blood remnant soul here." Lin Moyu said, "Almost, at present, it seems that there is more than 90% confidence, but if you want to have a better grasp, you may need to trouble Senior Gu and the old tree to enter the formation." Gu Hanyu coughed lightly, "No problem." Shu Lao said, "My husband is no problem either." Lin Moyu said, "The 2 seniors should disperse their souls in the formation, and it would be best if they could force them to use the blood escape. Once the blood escape is activated, its power will be greatly weakened in a short period of time, so that the flames of the younger generation can also play the greatest role and burn faster, so as to avoid more trouble at night." Shu Lao nodded, "No problem, leave this matter to me and Lao Shi." Gu Hanyu asked, "How do you know that their power will be weakened after the blood escape?" Lin Moyu smiled, "I have dealt with the guys from the Black Blood realm before, so I know a little bit." Gu Hanyu hummed, and did not ask any more questions. "I will find it first and then lead it here." Shu Lao said, "Leave this kind of finding work to me, you don't have to move." The cane hit the glacier, and the huge shadow of the glacier tea tree suddenly appeared in front of him. The glacier tea tree was swaying continuously, and countless dust particles flew out of the tree in all directions. The old tree said, "These are my seeds. They are like my eyes, and can help us find the hiding place of the black blood remnant soul." The seeds were as small as dust, flying around in the cold wind in the Jiuji Glacier, bringing information to the old tree. Just half an hour later, the old tree smiled, "I'm here." At this time, the seeds in the air began to gather, forming an illusory route. Gu Hanyu said, "Let's lure him here. That guy just used blood escape once, and it is estimated that he has not fully recovered yet." Lin Moyu said, "It's too short now, it may not come." The old tree smiled and said, "With me here, there's no need to worry about it not coming. Just wait." The 2 of them were already heading far away while they were talking, while Lin Moyu was waiting quietly in the same place. He didn't waste time either. He took out the jade card and continued to study the divine rune. He wanted to systematically study the divine rune and use his previous experience and insights on formations and runes to verify the divine rune and finally complete the fusion. After success, he could draw the divine rune, and the effect would be stronger than the rune. The time spent studying the divine rune passed quickly, and Lin Moyu didn't know how long it had passed. The breath coming from afar made him suddenly wake up. "Here it comes." 2 powerful breaths were flying towards him. The old tree and Gu Hanyu came back, and with them came a disgusting breath. The disgust of the avenue was growing rapidly. Lin Moyu knew that the 2 had led the black blood remnant soul back, and it seemed to be going smoothly. Lin Moyu was secretly surprised. With the cunning of the black blood remnant soul, how could it be fooled after it had just escaped from the blood and had not recovered yet? Seeing 2 Dao realm masters, he should have just run away. Strange, how could it be so smooth? Lin Moyu's doubts were quickly solved. He was not lured here at all, but was directly captured. The old tree used his own body to weave a big ball, trapped the Black Blood Remnant soul in it, and forcibly captured it back. At this time, the Black Blood Remnant soul had just escaped from blood not long ago, and had not fully recovered, so it was difficult to escape from blood again. That's why the old tree could weave a cage and capture it. It was just to catch it. It was still difficult to kill the Black Blood Remnant soul. If there was danger, he could try his best to perform blood escape again, or even escape further, but in this way, he would have to pay a big price and recovery would be very slow. The method used by the old tree to find it with seeds was not foolproof. If it was on guard, it would be difficult for the old tree to find it. Whether it was the old tree or Lin Moyu's plan to kill it, there was only one chance. The Black Blood Remnant soul seemed to know this, so even if it was caught by the old tree, it did not panic. As long as the other party did not make a move, it would wait, waiting for the time to come, and after recovery, it could perform blood escape without paying the price. If it made a move, it would immediately perform blood escape. Anyway, the method to deal with it was there, and there was no need to panic too much. The distance was getting closer and closer, and the disgust was getting stronger and stronger. Finally, the old tree brought the Black Blood Remnant soul into the Fengju formation. Lin Moyu's consciousness moved, and the sealing array was quickly activated, and the surrounding space was sealed on the spot. At this time, the old tree shouted, "Do it!" Gu Hanyu had been waiting for a long time, and the sword appeared in his hand. The divine symbol on the sword flashed, and he slashed it out with a sword. The old tree released the cage at the same time, and the Black Blood Remnant soul exposed the weight of the sword light. Gu Hanyu's sword was not gorgeous, and the power was infinitely concentrated. He didn't want to destroy the sealing array, so he didn't slash out with the sword 2.9 chi, but chose to fight in close combat. The Black Blood Remnant soul instantly turned into the appearance of the Black Blood Fist Saint, and a pair of black iron fists blasted out. Bang! The sword light exploded, and the iron fist of the Black Blood Remnant soul was chopped into pieces on the spot. In terms of power, it is not as Gu Hanyu's opponent. The knife light continued to move forward, and it slashed towards Hei Erkan. The body of the Black Blood Remnant soul was chopped on the spot amidst the strange cry. At this time, countless branches of the old tree turned into long whips, which were pulled out like lightning and whipped on the broken body of the Black Blood Remnant soul. With a loud bang, the Black Blood Remnant soul exploded and turned into countless bloodlines at the same time. The bloodline was looming and could not be locked at all. It not only penetrated the space, but also affected the time. The blood escape method of the Black Blood realm has been a difficult problem to solve since ancient times. But this time, the Black Blood Remnant soul hit a wall. The blood escape had just started, and the bloodlines had not flown out for dozens of meters before they hit the formation and were bounced back. After Lin Moyu's transformation, the sealing formation even sealed off time and space. Even the blood escape method from the Black Blood realm could not escape. The bloodlines quickly gathered and gathered together again, turning into the appearance of the Black Blood Fist Saint. But at this moment, its aura was much weaker than before. The failure of the blood escape was a huge damage to it. In this state, without Lin Moyu's action, as long as it could be trapped, Gu Hanyu and Shu Lao could kill it. But just in case, Lin Moyu thought it would be better not to do it himself. And Lin Moyu also had selfish motives. Killing the Black Blood Remnant soul would be rewarded by the Great Tao. Whoever contributed more would get more rewards. So far, almost 40% of the souls of this Black Blood Fist Saint were killed by himself. If he could kill this one again, he would get the big reward. This Black Blood Fist Saint was obviously stronger than the extraterritorial gods he had encountered before, so he would naturally get more rewards. Maybe he could condense more Tao patterns. How could Lin Moyu give up such a good opportunity? Gu Hanyu and Shu Lao cooperated tacitly and crushed the Black Blood Fist Saint again. The Black Blood Fist Saint was weakened again. At this time, a ball of flame exploded, and the fire of burning the world began to burn fiercely in the formation. "Two seniors, please come out," Lin Moyu said to the two of them, and opened a passage at the same time. The two immediately left the ceiling formation, and the formation gate was quickly closed. The next second, the flames in the ceiling formation shot up to the sky, and the entire formation turned into a sea of fire. The screams of the Black Blood Remnant soul resounded throughout the formation. Although the two sides did not speak the same language, they could still distinguish the screams. Gu Hanyu narrowed his eyes and said word by word, "The Great Tao Essence Fire is really powerful." Shu Lao laughed. "The Great Tao Essence Fire is the nemesis of the soul. When Lin Xiaoyu goes to the soul void in the future, I guess those guys will be miserable." Gu Hanyu said, "It's hard to say. Although the Tao Essence Fire is powerful, the guys in the soul void are not weak either. There were people who mastered the Tao Essence Fire before, but they were also killed by those guys." The old tree laughed and said, "Those guys are too arrogant. Little friend Lin's personality is not like that. I think little friend Lin will definitely be able to roam the soul void in the future." Lin Moyu asked, "How dangerous is the soul void?" The old tree said, "This is complicated to explain. You don't need to know now. When you reach the Tao realm in the future, you will understand it naturally." Gu Hanyu said, "Although the soul void has always been there, it is actually the territory of the Tao realm. If you are not at the Tao realm, entering the soul void is to seek death." Lin Moyu nodded slightly. "Junior understands. Thank you for your guidance." Gu Hanyu said, "It looks like it will burn for a while. You should keep an eye on it and don't let it escape." Lin Moyu said, "Don't worry, Senior, it can't escape." Lin Moyu kept staring at the formation. The Black Blood Remnant soul struggled wildly in the flames, bombarding the formation again and again, shaking the formation. However, no matter how the ceiling formation shook, it always stood firm. Lin Moyu was not worried at all. When he merged the power of time and space, the power of the Tao contained a trace of life force. It is these life forces that add resilience to the forces of time and space, making the entire formation tough. This is what Lin Moyu just discovered. He didn't expect that the power of life could have such an effect. The power of life can not only be used on living beings, but also on the Great Tao, and give the formation a stronger power. So, for the killing formation, the power of death can be used to enhance it. My exploration of the Great Tao of Immortality is still too shallow. It seems that there are still many secrets waiting for me to discover in the Great Tao of Immortality. Lin Moyu realized that the magic of the Great Tao of Immortality is far more than what is seen on the surface. His understanding of the power of life and death is far from enough. The power of the Black Blood Fist Saint is getting weaker and weaker, and the residual soul can't even condense into shape. Finally, after burning for 2 hours, the Black Blood Remnant soul was finally burned clean, without even ash left. The disgust of the Great Tao completely disappeared, and Lin Moyu breathed a sigh of relief. "It's done." The old tree also had a kind smile at this time. "Okay, another one is solved, and now there is only the last one left." Gu Hanyu said, "That's easy to solve. Most of the power of the strange treasure was used to suppress it. After so many years, even if it doesn't die, its power is almost gone." The old tree was not as optimistic as Gu Hanyu. The guy in the endless glacier is the real body. Although it has been suppressed for so many years, it is still difficult to deal with, otherwise, the part of the history area would not have been used to suppress it. Lin Moyu asked, "Although it is the real body, it only has more than 30% of the soul. Is there anything special about it?" Gu Hanyu said, "This Black Blood Fist Saint has reached the 7th holy level, which is equivalent to the 7th level of innate soul here. In the Black Blood world, once you enter the holy level, you have the opportunity to obtain the Blood Soul Secret Technique. And every time you are promoted, you have the opportunity to obtain it. That guy was promoted 3 times and obtained 2 Blood Soul Secret Techniques. One of the ones we know is the Blood-Sucking Secret Technique. After performing the secret technique, you can control the enemy's blood. At the least, the enemy's combat power will be greatly reduced, and at the worst, the enemy will directly explode. The old tree and I have suffered from this secret technique. The old tree said immediately, "Don't talk nonsense, you are the one who suffered, not me. I don't have blood in my body, only tree sap, that guy can't trigger it." Gu Hanyu said, "Although it can't make you self-destruct, it also weakens your combat power by at least 20%. The old tree didn't say anything. Obviously, what Gu Hanyu said was right, and he was indeed affected. Controlling the enemy's blood is just a concept. As long as it is a living being, there is blood. The tree sap in the old tree is its blood, which will be affected in the same way." Lin 173 said silently, "What about the other blood-soul secret technique?" The old tree shook his head. "We know that it has 2 blood-soul secret techniques, but the other one has never been used, so we don't know what the other blood-soul secret technique is." Lin Moyu asked curiously, "Since it hasn't been used, how do you know that he has 2 blood-soul secret techniques?" The old man said, "There will be marks on its body, and the marks are like bloodlines running through its body. Each mark represents a blood-soul secret technique, and he has 2. Lin Moyu nodded. "The 2 seniors are worried about his other blood-soul secret technique, right?" The old man said, "Yes, blood-soul secret techniques are very powerful, and the most fearful thing is the unknown. Some blood-soul secret techniques can allow the guys in the black blood world to recover to their peak combat power in a short period of time. If this happens, it will be very troublesome. We are not afraid, but we are afraid that you will be in danger, and I am afraid that your formation will not be able to trap it." Gu Hanyu said, "No matter what blood-soul secret technique it is, you have to go, unless you want to stay here for the rest of your life. If the 2 of them want to leave the Jilji Glacier, they must kill this Black Blood Fist Saint." Lin Moyu said, "Senior Gu is right. No matter what secret technique it has, we must kill it. And I am not so easy to kill. Even if I cannot defeat it, I believe I can self-destruct. If the other party is really suppressed there should be a way to kill it." The old tree gritted his teeth. "That's right, let's go and find a way to kill it." 2 old men and 1 young man, 2 people and 1 tree, with the same idea, crossed the 9 poles and stepped into the endless glacier. On the way, Gu Hanyu briefly talked about the situation of the endless glacier. This strange treasure fell into his hands that year. Although it took the 2 of them to activate the strange treasure together, Gu Hanyu was the leader at that time. So Gu Hanyu knew more information than the old man. Most of the power of the strange treasure was concentrated in the endless glacier. After tearing the Black Blood Fist Saint apart, the soul of the body was also suppressed in the endless glacier. Gu Hanyu said, "This strange treasure is very powerful. I can only control a small part of it. This small part can be divided into 2 parts, inside and outside. The 9 Poles Glacier is the outside part, and the Endless Glacier is the inside part, because the power of the inside part is stronger than the outside. The inside is a space of its own, evolving into the Endless Glacier, isolating the heaven and earth, and is used to suppress the body of the Black Blood Fist Saint, so that it can be foolproof." The old tree sighed at this moment. "It's a pity that our power is limited. If the power is strong enough and can fully activate the strange treasure, we can directly kill the Black Blood Fist Saint, and we won't be trapped here for many years." Lin Moyu was a little curious. How did the senior get the strange treasure? Gu Hanyu shook his head. "It can't be said." The old tree laughed. "I have asked this question before, but his answer is the same as before." He refused to say. Lin Moyu knew that it was useless to ask more. He must have a reason for not wanting to say it. Lin Mo guessed that there must be a deeper reason. Lin Moyu changed the subject. "After killing the Black Blood Fist Saint, the 2 seniors will return to the Tianwai Avenue." Gu Hanyu said, "Yes." The old tree added, "Things are not as simple as you think. Killing him is just a hard condition for returning to the outer world. In addition, there are still some things to be done. It is estimated that we will have to stay here for a while. But that is our private matter and will not delay the young friend's time." While speaking, the old tree glanced at Gu Hanyu. "I say, old Gu, are you a wooden man? Don't you understand what Lin Moyu said?" Gu Hanyu is not stupid. How could he not understand? He took out the blood jade card brought by Lin Moyu, and then drew the magic rune in the void. On Gu Hanyu's fingertips, drops of liquid like water beads kept coming out, and these liquids became the ink of the magic rune. Lin Moyu could see that the essence of the liquid was soul power, but some real substances were integrated into it. In this way, the soul power of nothingness has a shape, becoming a semi-real and semi-real existence, and it can be used to draw the magic rune. Gu Hanyu drew a simple magic rune and integrated the magic rune into the blood jade card. After a moment, he handed the blood jade token to Lin Moyu. You just need to take this jade token back. Lin Moyu said, Thank you, Senior. Gu Hanyu nodded slightly, without much expression. He has always been a man of few words. Although he is not very frugal with words, he basically does not speak when he can. Lin Moyu felt that Gu Hanyu was a bit similar to himself in the past. It was not that he was unwilling to speak, nor that he could not speak, but that he felt that sometimes there was no need to say more. I think Gu Hanyu is the same. If you can understand, you don't need to say it. When they came to the edge of the Jiuji Glacier, there was a vast expanse of white in front of them, and there was endless fog that blocked the front. Lin Moyu could feel that there was a powerful force in the white fog, blocking all those who wanted to break in. Gu Hanyu said, There is an endless glacier in front, and the cold will be even more terrifying. Even the Daozun Jiujing will be frozen to death in a very short time. While he was talking, he looked at Lin Moyu, which meant to ask, Are you sure you want to go down with us? Before Lin Moyu could speak, the old tree rushed to answer for him, Young friend Lin, of course you have to go with us, otherwise the two of us may not be able to kill that guy. What if, don't you want to be trapped here for another 1,000,000 years? Gu Hanyu looked at Lin Moyu. It's up to him to decide whether to go or not, don't say too much. Lin Moyu said, Of course I will go. Lin Moyu of course has to go. From a big point of view, the Black Blood Fist Saint is the enemy of the Origin Continent. He is a part of the Origin Continent, and he can't let go as long as there is a chance. From a small point of view, if he kills the Black Blood Fist Saint's body, he can get the reward of the Great Tao, which is of great benefit to his own cultivation. This is an opportunity. For public and private reasons, no matter which one, he has to go. The old tree laughed. I told you, how could Lin Moyu not go? You are talking nonsense. Gu Hanyu nodded. If that's the case, then go. He waved his hand, and the fog in front began to roll, quickly revealing a passage. A strong cold current rushed out of the passage, and a strong wind blew over. The cold current was so fierce that it was enough to scare the 9th level of Daozun. Lin Moyu could feel that there was a terrible power of the Great Tao in the cold current. The cold current blew on his body, just like the Great Tao of ice hitting him. But the Great Tao of power did not disappoint him, and he was still immune to such a cold current. Lin Moyu felt a little bit of cold, but he was not frostbitten at all. Gu Hanyu found that Lin Moyu was safe and sound, so he said, Follow me. The old tree also whispered, Lin Moyu, go in the middle, and the butcher is behind. Letting Lin Moyu go in the middle is actually to protect Lin Moyu. Although the Black Blood Fist Saint was suppressed in it, so many years have passed, who doesn't know what is going on inside? Passing through the fog, the three entered the endless glacier. Cold currents rushed over, and in front of them was a world with a silver luster. In the sky, the wind, clouds, and fog turned, and groups of cold currents turned into whirlpools, spinning in the air. Gu Hanyu whispered, Pay attention to these ice whirlpools, they sometimes fall down, don't be swept away by them, otherwise it will be dangerous. Lin Moyu's expression was also slightly solemn at this time. He could feel that the ice whirlpool contained amazing power, not just coldness. Once you are caught in it, the picture will not be too beautiful. It was obviously the first time for the old tree to come to the endless glacier. He couldn't help but sighed. I didn't expect the endless glacier to be like this. It's far from what I thought. Lin Moyu didn't know what the endless glacier that Shu Lao was thinking of looked like. He could feel the strong power of the Great Tao here. Standing here was like standing in the Great Tao. Money is good, Lin Moyu asked. Shu Lao, what is the great Tao outside the sky like? Shu Lao chuckled. The great Tao outside the sky, that is a magical and boring place. It is hard to say what it is like. The world of each great Tao is different. But there is one thing that is quite similar to this place, that is, the power of the great Tao. In each great Tao, the 5 heavenly Taos are radiated all the time. In addition to being used for cultivation, the power of the great Tao can also be used. Gu Hanyu suddenly interrupted Shu Lao's words. We found that guy, let's go. While speaking, Gu Hanyu gave Shu Lao a look, and Shu Lao immediately understood and smiled. Let's go. Lin Moyu saw Gu Hanyu's actions and roughly knew what he meant from his eyes. He actually asked Shu Lao to stop talking. The world in the Great Tao was not suitable for him to know for the time being. The old tree suddenly sent a message. I spoke out of turn. There are some things that are not convenient for me to tell you. The Great Tao is formless, which is a truth known to all practitioners. Every practitioner has his own understanding of the Great Tao. 10,000 practitioners have 10,000 different understandings of the Great Tao. The Great Tao is different in front of each practitioner. What Shu Lao said is definitely not wrong, but that is only his own feeling about the Great Tao. If Lin Moyu is told directly now, it is very likely that Lin Moyu will have a concrete image of the Great Tao, which will be harmful to cultivation. It is precisely because of this that many people talk about the truth when preaching to the younger generation, but will not tell the practitioners specifically what you should do and what the Great Tao is like. So Gu Hanyu interrupted Shu Lao and stopped him from speaking. Shu Lao also realized this and was not angry at all. Instead, he felt a little embarrassed. He almost did something bad with good intentions. Lin Moyu naturally understood the meaning of Gu Hanyu's words. He was not angry at all and nodded gently to Shu Lao to show that he understood. Gu Hanyu led the way in front, Yu Hanbing's minister. Through the induction of the strange treasure, he could sense the approximate location of the remnant soul of the Black Blood Fist Saint. The 3 of them walked for a long time, and Gu Hanyu's face suddenly changed. That guy escaped. The old man's expression also became solemn. How could it be? Didn't you say that you had suppressed it back then? Gu Hanyu said, it was suppressed back then, but so many years have passed, it's normal for it to run out. But even if he runs out of 307, it won't be easy. I can sense that the suppression force still exists. Let's go and take a look. Gu Hanyu sped up and rushed over quickly following the induction. Lin Moyu noticed that the ice vortex in the sky gradually changed. The ice vortex that was originally like stars in the sky began to become restless. They were constantly gathering in a certain direction and then gradually dispersed. After walking for a while, Lin Moyu saw another ice vortex falling from the sky, turning into a tornado, flying in the Bingjin Bingchuan. The terrifying power continued to spread in all directions. Lin Moyu immediately felt the layers of pressure and even had difficulty moving for a while. This is the suppressive power of the endless glacier. Even though they are still far away and it is only a negligible aftermath, Lin Moyu feels that he will be suppressed to death. This is the real power of the avenue, even more powerful than the power of the avenue driven by Gu Hanyu. Facing this power, he is so small. Gu Hanyu shouted in a low voice, and a powerful force emanated from his body, for Lin Moyu blocked all the pressure. The old tree tapped the cane on the ground lightly, and a branch flew out and landed gently on Lin Moyu's shoulder. Lin Moyu only felt his body lighten, no longer troubled by pressure. They continued to move towards the tornado, and soon, they finally saw the real situation in the tornado. Where the tornado touched the glacier, a black shadow was moving slowly, not fast, and every step was solid. No matter how violent the tornado was, it could not shake the black shadow. The moment he saw the black shadow, a strong sense of disgust suddenly grew in his soul. Facing the body of the Black Blood Fist Saint, the disgust was far greater than before. Lin Moyu's eyes showed murderous intent, not only him, but also Gu Hanyu and the old tree. Disgust is disgust. Lin Moyu did not lose his mind. His thoughts were still clear, and he could feel the extremely terrifying power from the Black Blood Fist Saint. This power would make it very easy to kill him. A light punch from the opponent might be enough to turn him into ashes. The old tree murmured, "He really escaped." Gu Hanyu said, "It escaped, but it didn't jump out completely." Lin Moyu also saw that the Black Blood Fist Saint did not really escape. The power of suppression was still wrapped around him. He was like a target, and the ice vortex would continue to attack him. The Black Blood Fist Saint was very powerful and recovered incredibly fast, but under the continuous pressure of the ice vortex, its power was continuously consumed and could not be truly recovered. So every step it took was very slow and heavy. Even though it knew it had arrived, it couldn't react. In other words, the current Black Blood Fist Saint was just a slowly moving target, without much resistance. But the trouble was here, because it escaped the suppression and was now covered by the ice. The ice vortex not only attacks it, but also becomes its sibbed umbrella of protection. If Gu Hanyu wants to hurt the Black Blood Fist Saint, the first thing he has to solve is the ice vortex. The old tree also saw this and frowned and whispered, "Is there any good way?" The more Gu Hanyu looked, the more solemn his eyes became. "I can't control the ice vortex, and even if I can control it, I can't remove it. With its power, once it loses the restraint of the ice vortex, it will escape immediately. As long as it is given a little time to recover, it will cause big trouble." The old tree said, "I know all you said. I am asking you if there is any good way." Gu Hanyu answered very straightforwardly, "No." The old tree couldn't think of a good solution, and sighed, "I didn't expect that the ice vortex would become his umbrella of protection. Can we just watch and do nothing?" Now a special state of balance has been formed between the ice vortex and the Black Blood Fist Saint, and neither side can do anything to the other. It is estimated that this state has lasted for many years and will not change in a short time. If you wait for an opportunity, you may not be able to wait for millions of years. Lin Moyu's thoughts are like lightning, considering various methods. Because of the existence of the ice vortex, the terrible power of the avenue penetrates the world, and the ceiling formation must be unusable. Even if the formation plate of the ceiling formation is refined, it will be torn apart by the power of the avenue at the moment the formation is formed. And under the blockade of the ice vortex, he can't lock the enemy with the avenue, and the corpse explodes and cannot be used. I want to throw the burning world fire on the Black Blood Fist. It can't be done. The ice vortex really protects it tightly, and there is no way to start. The old tree really can't think of a way, so he can only look at Lin Moyu. "Little friend Lin, do you have any ideas?" Lin Moyu said, "Under the protection of the ice vortex, we really can't do anything with it. I can't even lock it. If I can lock it, then maybe I can think of a way." Gu Hanyu's eyes lit up slightly. "Can you lock the enemy with the Great Tao?" Lin Moyu hummed, "Yes." Gu Hanyu immediately asked, "You master the Great Tao of Luck. Are you using the Great Tao of Luck to lock the enemy?" Lin Moyu nodded, indicating that it was correct. Gu Hanyu said, "It is difficult to cut off the enemy with the illusory Great Tao, even the ice vortex. If I help you break a gap, you can use the Great Tao of Luck to lock it." Lin Moyu thought about it. "It should be no problem, I am 80% sure." Gu Hanyu seemed to trust Lin Moyu very much, and did not ask Lin Moyu what he would do after completing the Great Tao to lock the enemy, and immediately said, "Okay, then I will help you break a hole." As he spoke, Gu Hanyu took out his sword and rushed towards the ice vortex. Lin Moyu's mind moved, and the Avenue of Luck appeared, locking onto Gu Hanshin at the same time. "Luck, increase." Instantly, dragons roared, and Gu Hanshin's luck increased sharply. His luck turned into a dragon, and he was blessed with great fortune. Just in case, Lin Moyu strengthened Gu Hanyu's luck. A stronger luck can slightly increase Gu Hanyu's strength. Lin Moyu could see that although Gu Hanyu said that he could break the ice vortex, he actually didn't have much confidence to say so. In this case, let's increase Gu Yu's success rate. While strengthening Gu Hanyu's luck, Lin Moyu has already separated the Avenue of Luck and followed Gu Hanyu closely, waiting for an opportunity. Gu Hanyu rushed over, holding up his sword, the divine rune on the sword glittered, and a huge aura rushed out in all directions. This simple and powerful sword should be a magic weapon of the Avenue realm. Once it is fully activated, it is indeed amazing. The sword light fell with a bang, and the light brighter than the glacier passed like lightning. The ice vortex that enveloped the black blood fist sank paused in the light, and a tiny crack appeared in the vortex. The crack was very small, not much bigger than a fist. Compared with the ice vortex connecting the heaven and earth, this tiny crack was almost negligible. But it was this insignificant crack that gave Lin Moyu the opportunity. The avenue of luck that followed, carrying Lin Moyu's wool, rushed into the crack and fell on the body of the Black Blood Fist Saint. This was the first time that Lin Moyu locked the Black Blood Fist Saint with the avenue of locking the enemy. At the moment of completing the locking of the enemy, Lin Moyu immediately felt an indescribable disgust, which was countless times stronger than usual. In Lin Moyu's soul world, beside his ears, and in his mind, the roar of the Black Blood Fist Saint continued to sound. Every roar was like a bolt from the blue, making Lin Moyu feel very uncomfortable. At this moment, in the depths of Lin Moyu's heart, an idea kept growing, rushing over to kill it. Regardless of the ice vortex and the danger, there was only one word in his heart: kill. The dragon soul crystal roared, the world tree swayed wildly, and the clear water poured down like spring water. Mo Moyu woke up in an instant. Lin Moyu was shocked. Just now, he almost lost his heart. He always thought that his heart was as solid as a rock and unbreakable. Unexpectedly, just one time of locking the enemy with the great Tao almost made his heart lose the temple. Lin Moyu remembered the experience of that moment and would never forget it. At that moment, he was closest to the Black Blood Fist Saint. He seemed to see the endless black blood pouring over and swallowing him. He knew the essence of the Black Blood realm, which was a ball of evil, dark, and extremely powerful blood. But he had never come into contact with it before. This was the first time. Lin Moyu realized that he had underestimated the other party. The horror and power of the Black Blood realm far exceeded his imagination. But it was also because of this contact that Lin Moyu knew how to deal with the Black Blood Fist Saint. After simulating it in his mind, Lin Moyu felt that his idea was feasible. The corners of his mouth slightly raised. "Old Tree, I have thought of a way to kill him." Old Tree asked, "What method?" Lin Moyu said, "I have locked it through the avenue of luck, but this lock cannot last long and will soon be wiped out by the icy vortex. Even if I use the avenue of essence fire, I can burn it to death in such a short time. But at present, the avenue of essence fire is the best way to kill it, so I think maybe I can use the avenue of essence fire to burn it directly from the soul void." Old Tree's expression suddenly changed. "What are you talking about?" Lin Moyu said, "I am not talking nonsense. This is the best way I can think of. Old Tree, just tell me, is my method feasible?" Old Tree shook his head. No, your method is too dangerous. The soul void is not a place you can go now." Lin Moyu smiled slightly. "So, except for the danger, it is actually possible." The Old Tree still shook his head. "No, you can't go." At this time, Gu Hanyu flew back, and Gu Hanyu heard the conversation between the two. "The Old Tree is right. The soul void is still too dangerous for you now. It's easy to get lost." Lin Moyu said, "Although I don't know much about the soul void, I don't know that the soul void reflects my position in reality. I am so close to it, so we will not be far apart in the soul void, and there is a great way to lock the enemy. I believe I can find it." The Old Tree still shook his head. "No, the soul void is too dangerous. You are only in the fourth realm of Dao Zone. Even if you have the Great Way Fire, it won't work. And you'll easily get lost in the soul void, and you'll never be able to come back." Gu Hanyu said, "Indeed, if you want to kill it this way, forget it." Lin Moyu said, "To be honest, I've been to the soul void several times, and once I encountered a powerful being and made some enemies. The soul void is not unfamiliar to me, and I have some confidence. Asterisk. Why don't I try it this way? If it doesn't work, I'll go back immediately." Gu Hanyu looked at Lin Moyu's determined look and asked in a low voice, "Do you really want to go?" Lin Moyu hummed, "This is the best way to kill it, other methods are not safe." Indeed, Lin Moyu was right, other methods were indeed not very safe. If they couldn't kill the Black Blood Fist Saint, they would be trapped here forever, and their previous efforts would be in vain. Gu Hanyu said, "If you must go, then try to get closer to it, so that the distance between you and the soul void can be shortened. Go closer, the old tree and I will protect you, you can go and kill with peace of mind." Lin Moyu nodded and immediately walked towards the ice vortex. 0. He could feel the power of the ice vortex, and the huge force coming towards him made it difficult for him to move. At this time, Gu Hanyu and Shu Lao came to his side, and the power of the two formed two layers of umbrellas, isolating all the power of the ice vortex. Under the protection of the two, Lin Moyu tried to get close to the Black Blood Fist Saint. Across the ice vortex, he saw the bloodlight in the eyes of the Black Blood Fist Saint, and the bloodlight was full of endless killing. Lin Moyu ignored its gaze, closed his eyes slightly, and sank his consciousness into his soul. The portal to the soul world opened, and Lin Moyu flew out of it. In the soul void, there is nothing, no signs to guide the direction. The only connection is that there is a trace of connection between the soul and its own soul world. It's just that this connection is easy to break when the distance is too long. Once it is broken, it is difficult for the soul to find the way home in the vast void. Lin Moyu did not act immediately, but drew an extremely complex rune. After the rune was drawn, it was broken. Half of the rune was thrown into the soul world, and the other half was carried with him. For a long time, the two runes would sigh with each other and guide Lin Moyu. After drawing the rune, he began to sense the location of the Black Blood Fist Saint. The road of luck emerged, Lin Moyu's luck continued to rise, and at the same time, the soul mark left on the Black Blood Fist Saint began to become clear. Found it! Lin Moyu moved his mind and turned into a meteor and flew towards the other party. It was not the first time for him to come to the soul void. Although he was not familiar with it, at least he was familiar with it. Lin Moyu never did anything he was not sure of. The reason why he chose this was of course because he had a good idea in his mind. When he completed the Great Tao locking before, Lin Moyu felt the darkness and terror from the Black Blood realm for the first time. At the same time, he also felt that the distance between him and the soul of the Black Blood Fist Saint was not far. This distance was the distance of the soul void space, which was the maximum distance he could reach. Lin Moyu followed the aura locked by the avenue and flew straight ahead, with a little curiosity, "Let me see what your soul looks like." He had never seen the appearance of the soul of a black-blooded person. For cultivators in the Origin continent, the appearance of the soul is the same as the appearance of the body. But this does not mean that the people of the Black Blood realm are the same. The distance was getting closer, and finally, Lin Moyu saw a glimmer of blood. Here we are. With a thought in his mind, Lin Moyu stopped far away. He 030 finally saw the soul of a black-blooded person. There was no appearance, either black clothes or a ball of black and red blood. The blood was emitting red light in the dim soul void, and outside the blood, there was a thin layer of transparent bubbles. The bubbles looked very weak, but in fact they were extremely tough. Lin Moyu looked from afar and murmured to himself, "The people of the Black Blood realm all evolved from a ball of blood, but their souls themselves are 10 drops of blood. Can we say that all the people in the Black Blood realm are the clones of that ball of blood? A ball of blood evolved into a powerful world. What kind of blood can be so terrible?" Lin Moyu couldn't imagine the existence of that level. But now, he has his own things to do. He didn't go closer, and released the burning fire from a long distance. The burning fire crossed the soul void and fell on the soul of the Black Blood Fist Saint. Ah! The screams resounded through the soul void. The black blood was wrapped in the burning fire, and cracks began to appear in the bubbles outside. The burning fire directly burned the soul, and the effect was countless times better than outside. If it takes an hour to burn outside, maybe just a few minutes here is enough. The screams were endless, and Moyu was unmoved. Suddenly, Lin Moyu found himself locked by a will. "It's you, this saint will kill you." The roar sounded, and the black blood rushed towards Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu almost instinctively retreated. He didn't need to fight with the opponent now. As long as he dragged it for a while, the burning fire would burn it to death. It chased fast, Lin Moyu ran faster, and Lin Moyu had a sense of rhythm, not running randomly. It seemed that he had no direction, no rules, and even a little bit of a lie. In fact, Lin Moyu was always circling in an area, and his induction with the soul world had never been interrupted. Under the burning of the world burning fire, the Black Blood Fist Saint became weaker and weaker, and later his speed slowed down, and he could only scream and scream. Finally, after 10 minutes of persistence, the soul of the Black Blood Fist Saint was finally burned to death, leaving a soul crystal in the soul void. The soul crystal was a little small, because the soul of the Black Blood Fist Saint was actually only a little more than 30%, not a complete soul. However, the level of the soul crystal was not low, at least it was a soul equivalent to a 7th level in 8 soul realm powerhouse. Putting away the soul crystal, Lin Moyu chuckled, "It's time to go back." After successfully burning the soul of the Black Blood Fist Saint, Lin Moyu was not complacent. He knew very well that the reason why it was so smooth was because the opponent's soul was only a little more than 30% of its peak, which was a severely damaged state. The combat power at the soul level might not even be 1,000th of the peak. If the opponent's soul was in its peak state, equivalent to the 7th level in 8 soul of the Tao realm, he would probably be killed instantly. The only thing worth being happy about now is that the burning world fire is indeed the best way to deal with souls. However, although the burning world fire is strong, it also depends on the realm of both parties. If the realm difference is too big, the burning world fire is still useless. Only when the realm is similar, the burning world fire is an invincible existence that traverses the soul void. Walking back along the induction between himself and the soul world, Lin Moyu thought about the two strange things he had just discovered. One is that he could actually understand what the other party said. The Black Blood Fist Saint called himself the Saint, which should be a name of the Black Blood realm. The second is that when he saw the soul of the Black Blood Fist Saint, he did not feel disgusted. After a little thought, Lin Moyu already knew why this happened. In fact, the reason is very simple, because there is no avenue of the origin continent in the soul void. On the origin continent, whether it is not understanding the other party's words or strong disgust, it is actually because of the avenue. But in the soul void, the influence of the avenue disappears, and then many things will become different. After flying for a while, he saw his soul world from a distance. Suddenly, Lin Moyu stopped. A black shadow appeared outside his soul world. This black shadow was very large, not smaller than his soul world. The faint light of the soul world fell on the other party, reflecting the other party's outline. A huge python was circling along his soul world. Lin Moyu frowned slightly. Is that so? The moment he left the soul world, the breath of the soul world had leaked out, which was inevitable. It was just a few seconds of leakage that attracted a powerful existence in the soul void. Lin Moyu felt that things would not be so coincidental, perhaps there were other reasons. Just as he was thinking, the giant python's tail slammed into the soul world. The soul world roared continuously, sending a warning to Lin Moyu's soul. Then countless vines rushed out of the soul world, intertwined into a large net, and covered the giant python. The giant python was caught in the net. It struggled and rolled wildly, biting the net one by one, trying to tear the net apart. Lin Moyu was not there, and the World Tree took the initiative to fight back. Not only the World Tree, a portal was opened in the soul world, and the dragon soul crystal rushed out. The 11-colored dragon soul crystal transformed into a huge dragon, biting the giant python as soon as it came up. The dragon transformed by the dragon soul crystal was not much smaller than the giant python. It bit the giant python's skin and flesh. The World Tree cooperated with the dragon soul crystal to restrict the giant python's movements. The dragon soul crystal bit the giant python again and again, leaving it covered with wounds. The giant python screamed and struggled more frantically. With a bang, it broke free from the restraints of the world tree and wrestled with the dragon soul crystal. Lin Moyu had already seen that although this giant python was huge, it was not that powerful. Its realm should be the seventh realm of Dao Zun. Knowing the opponent's strength, Lin Moyu did not intervene too much, just to see how powerful the world tree and the dragon soul crystal were. Why do I feel that there is a familiar breath on this giant python? Lin Moyu searched in his memory and soon found the corresponding target. It was the one who injured Longsheng and attached to Longsheng's soul. It was obvious that this giant python was related to that guy. Sure enough, they wouldn't let me go so easily. They sent someone to find me before I went to the Soul Void. The Soul Void is boundless. It must be difficult to find me. Lin Moyu knew that the other party would definitely send someone to find him, but it was difficult to find him because the Soul Void was ridiculously large. This time, because he was going to kill the Black Blood Fist Saint, he revealed some of his aura, otherwise the other party would not be able to find him. It seems that I have to be careful in the future. Lin Moyu muttered to himself, flicked his finger, and the fire of the burning world turned into a line of fire and flew out. Chapter 3383 Who is that guy? The giant python looked big enough, but its combat power was average. The burning world fire burned it to ashes and turned it into a soul crystal. In terms of the quality of the soul crystal, it was far inferior to the one refined by the Black Blood Fist Saint. This should be cannon fodder. Lin Moyu thought to himself. The existence in the Soul Void sent a large number of people to find him, but most of them should be cannon fodder. Suddenly, Lin Moyu's face changed slightly. No. It left a breath in the giant python's soul. Now that I killed the giant python, it means that this breath will dissipate, and it can locate according to the breath. The location of my soul world has been exposed, and I have to move to another place. No matter whether his idea is right or not, Lin Moyu simply moved his soul world. The soul world is in the Soul Void, and its location has a reflection relationship with the location in the real world, and it is not fixed. As the position of the physical body in the real world changes, the position of the soul world in the Soul Void will also change accordingly. However, the change in the position of the soul world will not affect the position of the physical body in the real world. However, it is not so easy to move the soul world. The dragon soul crystal turned into a dragon, and Lin Moyu's soul pushed the soul world to move. 02. The world tree also moved to help, and countless branches spread out, turning into a pair of big hands, pushing the soul world. With the combined efforts of the three, the soul world slowly shifted its position. While moving, the soul world, which was originally shining, gradually became dim, and finally disappeared completely in the Soul Void. The Soul Void is a very strange space. It seems to be empty and boundless, but the visual range is extremely limited, and the visible area is very small. There is a soul world in front, but as long as you don't get close enough, you can't see it. Where the soul world was originally, Lin Moyu left a skeleton general. Not long after Lin Moyu moved the soul world, the skeleton general suddenly shattered silently. The moment the skeleton general shattered, Lin Moyu saw a ball of extremely vigorous and powerful soul flame through the vision of the skeleton god. 000. Advertisement. The endless glacier, the ice vortex that suppressed the Black Blood Fist Saint suddenly began to weaken, and then disappeared. The body of the Black Blood Fist Saint also collapsed at the same time, turning into a pool of black and red blood. The blood is its remains. The strong men of the Black Blood realm evolved with blood and will turn into black blood after death. The tree old man's face showed joy, and he shouted excitedly, "Success!" Gu Hanyu nodded. It seems to be successful. Little friend Lin is indeed extraordinary. They are all familiar with the Soul Void and know how difficult it is to kill people there. Lin Moyu can wipe out the Black Blood Fist Saint in the Soul Void, showing Lin Moyu's superb means. At this time, the ice vortex dissipated, and the two of them relaxed. Time passed by, and Lin Moyu still didn't wake up, which made the two of them start to worry again. The tree old man murmured, "It's been a long time, it's time to come back. Little friend Lin, you won't get lost in the soul void, that would be troublesome. Old Gu, do you think I should go to the soul void to look for it? Our soul world shouldn't be too far away." Gu Hanyu said, "It's useless for you to go, unless you are very lucky." The old tree said, "I know that in the vast void, the possibility of finding Lin Xiaoyu is very low, but if I don't go to find him, I really can't bear it. I can't just watch Lin Xiaoyu get lost in the soul void." Gu Hanyu said, "Whether he is lost or not, it's not certain now. Maybe something has delayed him. Let's wait a little longer." The old tree knew that it was useless even if he was anxious. It was not possible to judge whether Lin Moyu was lost or not. The best way was to wait. After waiting for a long time, the old tree seemed to have lost his patience. "No, I still have to go in and look for him." At this time, Gu Hanyu also realized that something was wrong. "I'd better go. My soul is stronger than yours, and the range I can search is also higher than yours." This time, the old tree did not argue. "Okay, then you go, be careful." Gu Hanyu was about to enter the soul world, and suddenly he looked down at Lin Moyu, and the old tree looked at Lin Moyu almost at the same time. Lin Moyu's aura changed, from being vague before to becoming strong quickly. After his soul returned to its place, Lin Moyu slowly opened his eyes. "Thank you for waiting for me, seniors. I am glad to have done my job." Advertisement. The old tree seemed to change his face, his worries were swept away, and a smile replaced them. "I am glad that you are okay, young friend Lin. It took me only a short time to yawn." Gu Hanyu asked at this time, "What happened in the soul void? Why did it take so long?" Lin Moyu said, "I once offended a powerful existence in the soul void. It sent many people to search for my soul world. This time it was almost found by it. I can only tell you the location of my soul world." Gu Hanyu frowned. "Tell me in detail." "Okay." Lin Moyu had wanted to say it a long time ago. Gu Hanyu and Shu Lao must know more about the soul void than he did. If he told them about it, maybe they could give him some useful advice. Lin Moyu spoke in detail, telling the whole story. It even included the fact that he had left the skeleton god general just now, so as to make sure that the other party could really find him. After Lin Moyu finished speaking, Shu Lao asked anxiously, "Are you sure that guy's face is like a lion or a tiger?" Lin Moyu pointed his finger, and the light intertwined to form a projection. The projection was the face that he saw in the soul tiger void that day. Shu Lao and Gu Hanyu looked at each other. Lin Moyu could see their solemnity in their eyes. Gu Hanyu said, "Move your soul world farther away, the farther the better." Lin Moyu said, "My soul world is not stopping now, it is still moving. And I have completely 567 converged the breadth of the soul world, so it should not be easy to be discovered." The old tree said, "You have to be careful, that guy is a petty person. If you offend him, he won't let you go easily." Lin Moyu asked, "Who is that guy?" The old tree said, "Due to the rules, we can't tell you too much, but we can say that the guy is very powerful. Even if you have the great Tao essence fire, you can't be his opponent." Lin Moyu certainly knew that he was not his opponent, and he also knew that the old tree probably had some concerns and couldn't say many things. When talking to the Demon King about the soul void, the Demon King was also a little hesitant and vague, obviously restricted. Lin Moyu said, "Please tell me what you can say, old tree." When the old tree was about to say something, Gu Hanyu took over his words first. "In fact, there is not much we can say. The situation of the soul void is far more complicated than you think. The specific things will only be clear when you reach the great Tao realm and go to the heavenly Tao. What I can tell you now is that the guy is very strong, and his soul is about the level of the 4th level in 8 soul. Even if you have mastered the great Tao essence fire, it is best not to touch it before your soul reaches the 7th level in 8 soul. And it is not the strongest. There are stronger beings behind it. Move your soul world farther away. As long as it is far enough, it will be difficult for it to find you. Gu Hanyu was afraid that the old tree would say something wrong and say something that shouldn't be said, so he explained it to Lin Moyu first. His explanation was watertight, and Lin Moyu couldn't get more information from his words. Gu Hanyu's character was more cautious than the old tree, so Lin Moyu could only express his understanding and he wouldn't force anyone to do anything. From Gu Hanyu's words, 2 points can be summarized. First, the situation of the soul void is extremely complicated and not as simple as he thought. Secondly, he couldn't afford to provoke that guy. It was powerful in itself, and there was a stronger existence behind it, so he could only run away, the farther the better. As for where to run, no one could tell whether it was farther or closer, and he could only try his luck. Fortunately, Lin Moyu has always been good, and he also has the luck road to enhance his luck. Mo Moyu believes that the direction he is running in is not wrong. Lin Moyu suddenly wondered, why hasn't the avenue reward come? The old tree laughed, because there is still one last step. He pointed to the glacier not far away. Lin Moyu saw a small pool of black and red blood on the glacier, and could still feel a strong power from it, knowing that this was hulu left behind by Black Blood Fist Xian. Gu Hanyu said, "This is a black blood corpse, which is corrosive and cannot be tolerated by the avenue. If you want to get the avenue reward, you have to wipe it out." The old tree said, "This is also what we specially left for you. The previous black blood remnant souls were all killed by you. These black blood corpses will be wiped out by you in the end, and you will get the most benefits from the avenue reward." Lin Moyu felt the kindness of the old tree and Gu Hanyu. In fact, they could also wipe out the black blood corpses, but in that case, the avenue reward they received would be reduced. So they have been waiting for him to do it himself. They want to give as many avenue rewards as possible to themselves. It is very simple to wipe out the black blood corpses. Just burn them with the fire of the world. Lin Moyu was about to take action, but suddenly his mind changed, and he did not release the world-burning fire. The black blood corpse came from the black blood realm, and was not tolerated by the great Tao of the origin continent, so it had to be wiped out. There are many ways to wipe it out, and the world-burning fire is just one of them. In fact, as long as the black blood corpse can be taken out of the origin continent, it can be considered as being wiped out. This gave Lin Moyu another idea, whether it would be okay to put the black blood corpse in his own storage space. After all, this is the corpse of the Black Blood Fist Saint. If it is used to perform corpse explosion, the effect should be very amazing. Even if it is incomplete, its power when it was alive is not weak, and it should not be a problem to blow up an ordinary Great Tao realm. If it succeeds, then you will have one more trump card. Do it as soon as you think of it. Lin Moyu thought about it, found a place in his storage space, and then put the black blood corpse in. The black blood corpse went in smoothly, and the storage space was not corroded. The whole process was no different from him taking away an ordinary item. On the contrary, Shu Lao and Gu Hanyu showed surprise in their eyes at the same time. They knew very well that the black blood corpse was not an ordinary item, and ordinary storage magic weapons could not hold it at all. It was obvious that Lin Moyu had a very powerful storage magic weapon in his hand. But even if there was a storage magic weapon, what would it matter? Taking away the black blood corpse in this way did not mean wiping it out, and they could not get the avenue reward. Shu Lao was about to say something, when suddenly a ray of light came from the sky and fell on Shu Lao. "Avenue reward!" Shu Lao exclaimed, his face full of shock. Not only him, but Shi Hanchue was also shocked. Obviously, the black blood corpse was not wiped out, but the avenue reward came. They knew the meaning of it very well. This happened, which meant that Lin Moyu's storage magic weapon could block the avenue. A storage magic weapon that surpasses the avenue realm. The two of them had a thought at the same time. Only magic weapons that surpassed the avenue realm could block the avenue. Lin Moyu actually had a magic weapon above the Tao realm in his hand, which was something they could never imagine. But the reality was like this, whether it could be imagined or not, it happened just like that. The second light fell and landed on Gu Hanyu. Gu Hanyu's light was stronger than the old tree's, which meant that Gu Hanyu received more rewards and he contributed more. Both of them closed their eyes and enjoyed the Tao rewards. As for what rewards they would want, only they knew. The last light fell, and this light was so strong that it shone directly on Lin Moyu, illuminating the endless glacier a little. The Tao reward came, and Lin Moyu immediately began to condense the Tao pattern with all his strength. This Tao reward was stronger than before, because the Black Blood Fist Saint killed this time reached the 7th Saint level, which was equivalent to the Tao realm of the upgraded innate soul. The extraterritorial gods killed before were equivalent to the Tao realm of the 9th level innate soul, and the two were incomparable. And Lin Moyu contributed the most, and could account for at least 70% of the Tao reward. In the Strong Avenue reward, the Tao pattern quickly condensed and formed. In just less than 10 minutes, the 86th Tao pattern condensed and formed. Then, the 87th Tao pattern and the 88th Tao pattern were quickly formed. Under the Avenue reward, the Tao pattern was formed at a rate of 1 every 10 minutes, and the rate was very high. Lin Moyu had obtained countless opportunities. The Tao pattern that others could only condense in hundreds of years had long been increased by Lin Moyu to 1 per year. But even so, Lin Moyu was still not satisfied. He still tried his best to increase the speed of Tao pattern condensation. The Avenue reward was naturally the best method. This condensation speed was unimaginable for ordinary practitioners. Shu Lao and Gu Hanyu opened their eyes one after another, and their Avenue rewards ended. The two looked at Lin Moyu at the same time. At this moment, Lin Moyu was still in the Avenue reward. Shu Lao whispered, "Such a strong Avenue light, this time the reward is very strong. I don't know what reward Lin Xiaoyu wants." Gu Hanyu pondered, "It should be cultivation." The old tree didn't think so. Friend Lin is over 3,000 years old, and he can reach this level. His cultivation speed must be very fast, and he should not need the rewards of the Avenue to improve. Why not use the rewards of the Avenue to exchange for some good things that are not available? Gu Hanyu said, "How do you know that his previous fast cultivation speed was not due to the rewards of the Avenue?" The old tree was stunned. "Why didn't I think of it?" Friend Lin said that he had dealt with the Black Blood realm before. Does it mean that he had killed guys from the Black Blood realm and received rewards from the Avenue? Gu Hanyu, you will know when you ask him. The old tree nodded, and he looked at Gu Hanyu. "Old Gu, what reward did you ask for this time?" Gu Hanyu said, "I asked for a portion of the Avenue Cold Essence." The old tree chuckled, "I am almost the same. I asked for a portion of the Heavenly Ice King." Obviously, the two were very satisfied with the rewards of the Avenue. There was no envy or jealousy in their eyes, and they were very indifferent. Lin Moyu bathed in the light of the Avenue, and his aura continued to fluctuate, like waves, one after another. After a moment, the waves suddenly gathered together and turned into a huge wave. Lin Moyu's aura suddenly rose, breaking through the limit of the 4th realm of Dao Zun, and rushed to a higher place. The old tree was surprised. The realm has been improved. Little friend Lin is really practicing. Less than an hour after the great Dao reward came, Lin Moyu successfully condensed the 90th Dao pattern, broke through the limit of the 4th realm of Dao Zun, and successfully promoted to the 5th realm of Dao Zun. His accumulation was too deep, and the breakthrough was simply a natural result, effortless. His aura was rising rapidly, and powerful forces were growing from his body, and his soul power became more and more majestic. All the powers were rising, and the magic stars were shining, and their powers were also changing with the realm. However, it was only the power that was rising, and the magic stars did not change fundamentally. The combat power of the Undead Legion was increased, but the number did not change. As the realm was raised, it became more and more difficult for the magic to undergo a qualitative change. However, as long as the magic was still strengthening, Lin Moyu was very satisfied. His magic was already too strong. If it continued to change qualitatively, Lin Moyu was even worried that it would bring about some bad things. Everything is bound to be reversed when it reaches its extreme, and a delicate balance must be maintained between yin and yang. This promotion was within Lin Moyu's expectations, and the whole process could be said to be uneventful. However, when condensing the Tao pattern, Lin Moyu still found some differences. The difference comes from the power contained in the Tao pattern. He once comprehended many Taos. When condensing Tao patterns, the multiple Taos did not merge, but were independent. This resulted in each Tao pattern having its own attributes. Although they were all Tao patterns of his own, the Tao power contained in them was actually 760 different. He could not feel anything at ordinary times, but this was always a problem. The Tao patterns condensed this time were obviously different. Each Tao pattern contained the power of 6 Taos. This power was dominated by the life and death power of the immortal Tao, which integrated the power of the other 5 Taos together to form a whole. There was no conflict, it was very harmonious, and the difference was the world. This was related to his understanding of the cultivation method of multiple Taos. He had already taken the immortal Tao as the leader, so the Tao pattern naturally changed. So starting from the 86th Tao pattern, each Tao pattern was stronger than the Tao pattern condensed before. It's not much stronger, just a little bit, but what Lin Moyu cares about is not how strong the Tao pattern is, but the change in the nature of the Tao pattern, which is more important than the effect. Now his Tao patterns are divided into 2 batches, old and new. The new batch is the new Tao pattern that integrates 6 avenues, and there are 5 such Tao patterns. The old batch is the Tao pattern that integrates the power of different avenues, and there are 85 such Tao patterns. For Lin Moyu, this is not a good thing. Tao patterns must not only be unified individually, but also unified as a whole. So after completing the breakthrough, while the avenue rewards are still strong, Lin Moyu no longer condenses new Tao, Akdi, patterns, but uses the avenue rewards to transform the old Tao patterns. Transformation is much easier and faster than condensation, and several transformations can be completed almost every minute. This efficiency exceeds Lin Moyu's expectations. Lin Moyu feels that the reason why the transformation is so smooth is related to his soul level. His soul level has reached the 8th level of innate soul, and it is still in the late stage, which is not worse than Gu Hanyu. Although the 8th level innate soul cannot be converted into actual combat power, the different levels can still bring many benefits. The most intuitive thing is that the speed of understanding the Tao is faster. It is still the same now. The speed of transforming the Tao pattern is very fast. All the old Tao patterns have been transformed before the Tao reward. The 90 Tao patterns have become exactly the same, echoing and resonating with each other, like starlight, illuminating the soul. The Tao pattern has become a whole. Lin Moyu feels that his magic has been strengthened a little, and his soul has become stronger. The foundation has become deeper, and it will be easier to break through in the future, and there will be no bottlenecks. The Tao rewards finally ended. Only 5 Tao patterns were condensed this time. Lin Moyu was not disappointed, but a little excited. The transformation of all the old Tao patterns was completed, which was more important than condensing new Tao patterns. After the Tao rewards ended, Lin Moyu looked at the soul world. His soul world was moving at this moment, and the world tree and dragon soul crystal were pushing it to an unknown place. Lin Moyu left the soul crystal in the soul world and fed it to the dragon soul crystal after it came back. He slowly opened his eyes and saw the old tree looking at him with a smile on his face. "Congratulations, little friend Lin, you have broken through again." Lin Moyu smiled and said, "Thank you, old tree, I also broke through with the Tao rewards." The old tree said, "There are thousands of ways to practice. Enlightenment, elixir, and hard work are all ways. The same is true for Tao rewards. In the end, we only look at the results, not the process." Lin Moyu nodded. "Junior has learned from you." At this time, Lin Moyu saw that Gu Hanyu looked at him strangely, and he asked curiously, "Is there something wrong with me?" Gu Hanyu said, "You have a lot of Tao patterns." Lin Moyu admitted generously, "Indeed, there are quite a few." Gu Hanyu said, "The number of Chusho patterns should exceed Mu." The old tree was a little surprised. Old Gu, did you see it wrong? Gu Hanyu said, ask him if you saw it wrong. Lin Moyu said, Senior Gu is not wrong, there is indeed more than one. The old tree's eyes widened. My goodness, your basic Tao patterns are more than 11, you are going against the will of heaven. Lin Moyu said curiously, as far as I know, 9 Tao patterns are the limit, isn't it? The old tree shook his head like a rattle. No, 9 is just the limit for ordinary practitioners, not the real limit. In fact, I think there is no limit to Tao patterns at all, but most people think that 9 is the limit, so there is this saying, which is actually a kind of misinformation. Lin Moyu said, so that's the case, what about the 11 Tao patterns? Gu Hanyu said neither more nor less, he said 11 at the beginning, which means that the herdsman Tao patterns must be special. The old tree said, 11 Tao patterns are also called the posture of the Tao master. This is not what I said, but it was passed down by a Tao master. According to that Tao master, if you want to become a Tao master, you must have at least 11 basic Tao patterns when you become a Tao master. Lin Moyu still felt strange. Why did it have to be set at 11? Wouldn't 9 Tao patterns or 1 Tao pattern make you a Tao master? Gu Hanyu said, in fact, it's not because of the 11 basic Tao patterns, but because of another saying, when there are more than 100 Tao patterns, you will have the power of the great Tao. It means that when a person has 100 Tao patterns, he can obtain a power from the great Tao, and the more Tao patterns he has, the closer he is to the great Tao, and the higher the probability of becoming a Tao master. However, 100 Tao patterns are too difficult to obtain, so later someone took a different approach. When the Tao patterns reached 99, he used some special magic weapons and methods to obtain the great Tao. When he obtained the power of the great Tao, he was able to realize it and became a Tao master in one fell swoop. That's why there is a saying that 11 basic Tao patterns are the appearance of a Tao master. Gu Hanyu said it more clearly than the old tree, and Lin Moyu finally understood why there was such a saying. In simple terms, the more Tao patterns one has, the closer one is to the Tao, and the more Tao patterns one has, the stronger one's talent will be, and the higher the probability of becoming a Tao master. All of these are actually complementary, and there is no fixed saying. This does not mean that people with only 10 basic Tao patterns cannot become Tao masters, but it will be extremely difficult. What is the Tao divine power? Lin Moyu's eyes flashed with a strong desire for knowledge. The old tree said, the great power is the highest secret of a great way, but it is much stronger than ordinary secrets. In short, as long as you can obtain the great power, you are not far from becoming a master of the way. Gu Hanyu corrected, what the old tree said is only half right. There are very few people who can obtain the great power, and those few people have become masters of the way. There are also several masters of the way who have not obtained the great power. The old tree glared, how can I only say half right? Those masters of the way just didn't show the great power, which doesn't mean they don't have it. Gu Hanyu obviously didn't want to argue with the old tree. Yes, you are right. The old tree snorted, you are targeting me everywhere. Do you want to fight me now? Gu Hanyu whispered, if you must say so, it's not impossible. The two of them argued again, and neither of them was willing to give in. Lin Moyu had remembered what the old tree said at this moment. If he could obtain the great Tao magical power, he would be close to the Tao master. He had 18 basic Tao patterns. If he cultivated to the 9th level of Tao Zun, the total number of Tao patterns could reach 162, far exceeding the requirement of 100 Tao patterns. In other words, it was almost certain that he would obtain the great Tao magical power. Then the possibility of him becoming the Tao master was also very high. At this moment, Lin Moyu felt that he was not far from the Tao master. A person who had just reached the 5th level of Tao master actually thought that he was not far from the Tao master. If he said this, he would probably be laughed at by all the Tao masters. The 5th level of Tao master is still a long way from the Tao master, not to mention the Tao master. The two quarreled for a while, but each of them stopped fighting and did not really fight. Gu Hanyu said, even if the Tao patterns reach 100, if you don't reach the Tao master realm and go to the heavenly Tao, you can't get the Tao divine power. Gu Hanyu was kindly reminding Lin Moyu. In fact, he was also telling him to practice as soon as possible and not to slack off. Only those in the Tao realm were qualified to possess the Tao divine power. This kind of thing, which was higher than the secret art, had an amazing appeal to all practitioners. He believed that Lin Moyu would definitely practice hard for the Tao divine power. But he was wrong about one thing. Lin Moyu did not regard the Tao Master as his target. Because Wendian Dao Jun once said that the Tao Master fell in the origin catastrophe, and the Tao Master would also die, so the Tao Master was not his target. The Lord of Hell also fell, and the Lord of Hell was not his target either. Lin Moyu's goal was far and big, and he thought of the old man in green robe again. In Lin Moyu's feeling, the old man in green robe was stronger than the Tao Master. Among all the people he knew, the old man in green robe was one of the 4 strongest people. The 4 people were Qing Pao, his Taoist partner, the old man who gave him the ancestral water, and the strong man who broke the hell. Gu Hanyu said, "It's almost time, you should go back." The old tree also said loudly, "Little friend Lin, thank you for this time. If we have the chance in the future, we will meet in Tianwai Avenue." Lin Moyu said, "Are you 2 seniors going back too?" Gu Hanyu said, "It's time to go back." The old tree said, "There are still some things to do before going back, don't prepare for a while." Lin Moyu nodded, "Then I wish you 2 great progress in cultivation after returning to Tianwai Avenue, and make rapid progress." The old tree laughed, okay, I'll borrow your good wishes." Gu Hanyu said, "Practice quickly, we will meet in Tianwai." Lin Moyu bowed slightly and was about to turn around and leave, but suddenly thought of something. "Senior, do you know the essence of Zushui?" Gu Hanyu was slightly startled. "You got the essence of Zushui?" The old tree also asked, "Where did you get the essence of Zushui?" Lin Moyu said, "An old senior gave it to me. I still don't know the function of the ancestral water essence. I wonder if the 2 seniors know it." In fact, Lin Moyu has asked several people about the ancestral water essence, including the 3rd ancestor, the Demon King, and the Heavenly Tao Lord. In the end, he didn't get an accurate answer. The several Tao realm masters he asked were vague and didn't seem to be very willing to talk. This time he helped Gu Hanyu and Shu Lao a lot. Maybe the 2 of them can tell him some information. Gu Hanyu and Shu Lao looked at each other, and Lin Moyu saw the horror in their eyes. Lin Moyu saw the expressions of the 2 people. Lin Moyu thought to himself, they have the same look as the 3 ancestor demon kings. They are not shocked by the ancestral water essence, but by the ancestral water essence given to me. Gu Hanyu said, "The ancestral water essence is a good thing." Lin Moyu nodded. Several holy land sects of the human race have obtained the ancestral water essence, but for countless years, no one knows the true purpose of the ancestral water essence. Gu Hanyu said, "The ancestral water essence is very useful, and it has different uses for everyone, just like the rewards of the great Tao, and the rewards promised to everyone are different. So what kind of role you want the ancestral water essence to play depends on you." Lin Moyu pondered for a few breaths, gritted his teeth in his heart. "Once a senior said that the water essence can help me advance to the heavenly Tao realm." Gu Hanyu said, "When you advance to the great Tao realm, the ancestral water essence does have a role in fueling the flames, and can at least increase the success rate by 30%. But if it was used at that time, it would be a bit of a waste. After reaching the Tao realm, the role of the essence of ancestral water will be greater." 0. Seeking flowers. You are practicing the Tao of Time. When you reach the Tao realm in the future, you can go to the Tao of Time to find the answer. In the Tao of Time, there is a China pavilion, which records most of the things that have happened on the origin continent from ancient times to the present. There's what you want. The old tree laughed and said, "It is a bit troublesome for others to go to the China pavilion, and it costs a lot. It will be much easier for you to practice the Tao of Time." Gu Hanyu said, "I can only say this. Remember that if you can't use the essence of ancestral water, try not to use it. Don't tell others that you have the essence of ancestral water when you go to the Tianwai Tao. This thing is too precious and will be coveted by others. Lin Moyu nodded slightly. Thank you for telling me. I'll take my leave. Lin Moyu turned and left, disappearing in the white mist in a blink of an eye. After Lin Moyu left, the old tree murmured, "Wow, my friend actually met that person." Gu Hanyu said, "He is indeed extraordinary to be noticed by that person, and his future achievements will definitely far exceed you and me." The old tree agreed with Gu Hanyu's words. "That's natural. I have lived for hundreds of millions of years and have never seen a person like Lin Xiaoyu. The great Tao fire, the 5 realms of the 3,000-year-old Tao Zun, more than 11 basic Tao patterns, the predestined person of the great Tao divine power, the 6 great Taos, the master of the formation, and the essence of the ancestral water. No matter which one is said, it is already extremely amazing. As long as one of them is occupied, it is a genius rarely seen in 10,000 years. Now Lin Moyu has all these in one body. As long as he does not die, his future achievements are beyond their imagination." Hanshui Holy Land, outside the Jiuji Glacier, Lin Moyu has been in Jiuji Glacier for half a month. During this half month, Gu Tsang, Gu Hanbing, and others did not leave, they waited far away. These ancestors are very patient. Such a short time is nothing to them. A meditation may take several years, and a closed door may take hundreds or thousands of years. Gu Hanyu practiced at the entrance thousands of miles away from them, according to the method taught by Xiaomei, to stimulate his own cold plum bloodline. The whole process was very smooth, and it took 10 days for Gu Hanyu's bloodline to be activated. At that time, the cold plums rushed straight to the sky and turned into glaciers and fell down. The scene was extremely spectacular. While Gu Hanyu's bloodline was activated, her cultivation level was greatly improved, and she almost rushed directly into the 7th realm of Tao Zun. Now she is only 1 step away from the 7th realm of Tao Zun. In the next few days, Gu Hanyu kept staring at Jiuji Glacier, and finally her heartbeat suddenly became faster, and the Lian Lizis sent a sense in the dark. Gu Hanyu smiled, like a cold plum in full bloom. "He's back," she. Lian Lizzie gave Gu Hanyu a message in advance, allowing her to sense the appearance of Lin Moyu. Xiaomei giggled, her tender face had a mature tone. "The teacher will definitely return safely, don't worry at all." Gu Hanyu nodded gently. "Indeed, he is amazing." Recalling the time when she was chasing Lin Moyu, she never thought that things would turn out like this. The person she wanted to kill is now about to become her husband. She didn't think about whether Lin Moyu could successfully find his ancestors or enter the extremely dangerous Jiuji Glacier. There was a voice deep in her soul that kept telling her that Lin Moyu would definitely be able to do it, and there would be no accidents. Xiaomei smiled softly. "After today, I really have to call you Master's wife." Gu Hanyu shook her head quickly. No, you are Meizu." Xiaomei said, "Meizu is dead. I am Xiaomei, a disciple of the old 883 master. You are my mother. Don't tell others about my identity. This is my new life, and I have nothing to do with the Hanshui Holy Land." Gu Hanyu said, "Are you really not going to come back?" Xiaomei said, "If there is nothing wrong with the Hanshui Holy Land, I will not be needed. If there is something wrong, I will come back if I am capable. What's more, with the teacher here, it is not my turn to take action." Gu Hanyu could hear that Xiaomei had a mysterious trust in Lin Moyu. After waiting for a while, Lin Moyu's shadow finally appeared in his sight. Lin Moyu's steps seemed slow but actually fast. Each step was hundreds of meters, as if teleporting, and he was in front of him in a blink of an eye. Gu Hanyu smiled. "You are back." Lin Moyu smiled. "Are you worried about me?" Gu Hanyu shook his head. "No, I know you will be fine." Lin Moyu said, "You have so much confidence in your husband. Fortunately, your husband did not let you down." Gu Hanyu's beautiful eyes glowed slightly. Although she had guessed the result, she still couldn't help showing her surprise. "You met the ancestor." Lin Moyu said, "I did meet Senior Gu Hanzong." Hearing the 3 words Gu Hanyu, and Xiaomei knew that Lin Moyu had indeed seen him. Almost no one in the Gu family would mention the name of the ancestor, and they basically called him the ancestor to show respect. As for outside the Holy Land, no one would know the name of Gu Yaoyu. This name is really too old, so old that it cannot be recorded in various materials. The fact that Lin Moyu could call out the 3 words Gu Hanyu means that he really saw him. Gu Hanyu asked, "Is the ancestor okay now?" Lin Moyu said, "Senior Gu is very good. You also know that when you reach that realm, the problem of lifespan is gone." Gu Hanyu was a little surprised. Since the ancestor is fine, why didn't he come back? Lin Moyu said, "Before, because of some things, he couldn't leave the Jiuji Glacier. He may come back later, or he may not come back. The specific things are a bit complicated. Let's talk about it while we are at it." Gu Hanyu nodded. "Let's go. I guess the ancestors are waiting anxiously." On the way back, Lin Moyu roughly explained to Gu Hanyu why Gu Hanyu couldn't come back. He was trapped in the Jiuji Glacier before, and now he has to return to Tianwai Avenue. Even if Gu Hanyu wants to return to Hanshui Holy Land, he can probably only take a look. Moreover, in the conversation with Gu Hanyu, Lin Moyu could feel that Gu Hanyu did not have too deep feelings for the Gu family and the Hanshui Holy Land. It was normal to think that he had lived for countless years. Although the Gu family of the Hanshui Holy Land still recognized him as their ancestor, they knew that they had been separated for countless generations, and the so-called feelings had long faded under the erosion of time. As the Holy Lord, Gu Hanyu knew some things about the origin catastrophe, and at the same time he could understand Gu Hanyu's thoughts, so he easily accepted Lin Moyu's words. The 3 of them left the Jiuji Glacier, and Gu Hanyu closed the formation himself. Seeing Lin Moyu come back intact, Gu Tsong's old face showed a smile. "Little friend Lin, you really came back safely." Gu Hanbing snorted lightly. God knows whether he went there or not. Maybe he just went to the first few poles. Mu Chen shook his head aside. "I believe in little friend Lin. He won't do this." Lin Moyu smiled and threw the blood jade token to Gu Hanbing. Senior Gu Hanyu's words are all in it. As soon as the blood jade token was in hand, Gu Hanshui felt something unusual. This jade token was made by her own hands, and she knew the amount of Gu family blood in the jade token. Now that the jade token is back, the blood in it is obviously more than 10 times stronger, and the purity of the blood breath, even she, the direct descendant of the Gu family, was shocked. Gu Tsong also had a similar feeling, whispering, "The blood in the jade token is very ancient and noble." Gu Hanbing was in doubt. Did he really see the ancestor? It's impossible. With his realm and cultivation, it is impossible for him to really enter the Jiuji Glacier. 0I. The ancestor is in the Jiuji Glacier, and it is only a legend, and has never been seen. Does this kid have any special means to tamper with the blood pressure card? Although he was full of doubts, Gu Hanbing still activated the jade card. The jade card burst into a brilliant light, and the light gathered into a cold plum in the air. The majestic pressure rushed out from the cold plum, sweeping across the fields. In an instant, countless cold plums fell within a radius of 100 miles, and plum blossoms rained around. Gu Hanyu's shadow emerged from the cold plum, and his eyes were cold, sweeping around everyone. The blood of all the Gu family members present was boiling at the same time. The blood was connected, and all the Gu family members realized at this moment that they had seen their ancestors. Appearance it can be faked, the projection can be manipulated, but this blood connection cannot be faked. Gu Hanyu's appearance is exactly the same as in the records, especially the cold plum between his eyebrows, which is stimulating the blood of every member of the Gu family. Then, the pressure of the Dao realm fell from the sky, and the pressure was so great that it was breathless. Gu Tsong didn't even think about it. He knelt on the ground on the spot and kowtowed to the phantom, the unfilial descendants of the Gu family. The country will see the ancestors. With him taking the lead, countless ancestors of the Gu family knelt down and kowtowed. Gu Hanbing also knelt down and kowtowed to Gu Hanyu. Gu Hanyu also wanted to kowtow, but Lin Moyu pulled her and said, "I didn't ask her to kneel." Xiaomei didn't kneel either. In her last life, she was a member of the Gu family, but not in this life. She was just Lin Moyu's disciple, and she had to bow to Lin Moyu. 0.3 Among the people present, only Lin Moyu and Mu Chen were still standing, and the rest knelt on the ground. Gu Hanyu calmly accepted their worship. After scanning the circle, his eyes finally fell on Gu Hanyu. His majestic and low voice slowly sounded, "You are the contemporary Saint Lord, Gu Hanyu?" Gu Hanyu slowly saluted, "Hansui Holy Land, the 89th Saint Lord Gu Hanyu, pay homage to the ancestors." She wanted to kneel again, and this time Lin Moyu couldn't hold her back, so he could only let her do it. Gu Hanyu hummed, "Good qualifications, Hanmei blood is very rich, and has good potential. This ancestor asks you, are you willing to marry Lin Xiaoyu?" Gu Hanyu trembled slightly, and answered without hesitation, "Hanyu is willing." Hearing Gu Hanyu's answer, Han Bing's cold and serious face actually showed a little smile. Gu Hanbing was shocked. She already knew what the ancestor meant. Gu Hanyu's deep voice resounded in the icy land. "The rules left by this ancestor are to keep the blood pure as much as possible, not to completely prohibit marriage outside the family. And even if you marry outside the family, is this ancestor's Hanmei blood so easily affected? Marriage is a matter of mutual consent. As long as they don't do anything to harm the Holy Land or the Gu family, there is no need to stop them. Rules are set by people and can also be changed by people. Rules are dead, but people are alive. You must know how to adapt. Otherwise, how can you achieve the Great Way?" This time, Lin Xiaoyu entered the Jiuji Glacier and helped this ancestor a lot. It is a great favor to this ancestor and the entire Hansui Holy Land. This ancestor agrees to the marriage between Hanyu and Lin Xiaoyu, and no one can object anymore. As the ancestor of the Gu family, his words are as good as gold, and no one in the Shi family dares to object. Especially when he was talking, his blood was boiling. The Gu family knew that their ancestors had engraved some words in their blood. All the ancestors present said in unison, "Follow the order of the ancestors." The descendants of the Gu family should practice well. If one day they can achieve the Great Tao, I will meet you in the Great Tao outside the sky. Gu Hanyu waved his hand, and the cold plum blossoms exploded, turning into cold currents that penetrated into the bodies of all the Gu family members. The blood was roaring and boiling, shaking the 4 fields. "My blood has improved. My blood has improved by 0.2, at least 30%. After years of stagnation, the cultivation has finally made progress again." The ancestors of the Gu family were overjoyed, and then everyone bowed at the same time and shouted in unison, "Send the ancestors." At this moment, they no longer had any doubts about Gu Hanyu's identity. Ask who can improve their bloodline for them, except for their own ancestors, no one has this ability. The cold plum completely dissipated, the light of the bloodline jade card also became dim, and Gu Henyukin's power in it was also exhausted. Lin Moyu looked at Gu Hanbing. Is Bingzu still going to object? Gu Hanbing's mouth twitched twice, and he lowered his voice. "The ancestor has already spoken, and the people of the Gu family must naturally follow the ancestor's orders." Gu Tsan laughed. "The ancestor has spoken. Who dares to object? Lin Xiaoyu, what did you see in the Jiuji Glacier? Can you tell us?" Lin Moyu was well prepared and took out a jade card. "Everything that can be said is in it. Some things cannot be said, so don't ask, seniors." Gu Tsan laughed. Okay, if you don't want to ask, then don't ask. Let me see it." After reading the contents of the jade card, he frowned slightly. The ancestor has actually been in the 9th pole. It's a pity that the descendants are incompetent. For countless years, no one has been able to enter the 9th pole. Fortunately, it is Lin Xiaoyu that we can know that the ancestor is safe. Lin Moyu smiled and didn't say anything. In fact, it's not that the descendants are incompetent, but that the world is limited. The entire origin continent is in a special state. No one can break through to the pseudo-Dao realm. Naturally, no one can enter the 9th pole. This restriction has not been loosened until the last few hundred years. I believe it won't take too long for the pseudo-Dao realm to appear. The jade card was passed from one ancestor to another, and everyone knew some of the situations in the Nine-Pole Glacier. They were all a little surprised that Lin Moyu could actually walk to the ninth pole and see the solid soil layer. At this time, Gu Hanyu's ears moved slightly, and she said loudly, "My fellow ancestors, the matter of recruiting disciples this year has been suspended for more than 10 days. It is not a good idea to delay it any longer. Hanyu has to deal with it first. Or, if the ancestors think that someone else should handle it, Hanyu will hand over the authority. Now Gu Hanyu is still the Holy Lord, and the group of Holy Land siege still needs to be handled by her. Because Lin Moyu entered the Jiuji Glacier, the matter of recruiting disciples has been delayed. Those disciples who passed the first level have been living in the Hanshui Holy Land for more than 10 days. Wu Xingguang, who came to ask for marriage, also lived together for more than 10 days. Now that Lin Moyu has returned, Gu Hanyu has received reports from his subordinates and will continue this matter. There are a lot of things in the Holy Land, and some things need to be decided by him as the Holy Lord. Gu Hanbing said, "You are still the Holy Lord now. Even if you want to get married, don't rush. Just deal with the things at hand." Gu Hanyu said, "Okay, Hanyu will handle all the affairs, Bingzu, rest assured." Gu Hanbing said, "Why should I worry? I know your ability. After dealing with the things at hand, you can choose a successor. We are also confident in the person you take over." In fact, Gu Hanbing trusts Gu Hanyu very much, otherwise he would not do this. Lin Moyu even saw a trace of reluctance in her eyes, just because she was too rule-abiding, not against Gu Hanyu. Gu Hanyu nodded. "Hanyu understands, then Hanyu will go to work first." Gu Tsong said with a smile, "Hanyu girl, send all of us old guys back before you leave, otherwise it will be too troublesome to rush back." As soon as Gu Tsong said this, the ancestors immediately laughed kindly. "Yes, send us old guys back first." The ancestors were obviously joking with Gu Hanyu, which showed that they had a good relationship on weekdays. After all, if nothing unexpected happens, Gu Hanyu will become an ancestor like them in the future. We are all ancestors of the Gu family, so we naturally have to be polite. In the Gu family, there are not many things that fight for power and profit. Gu Hanyu used the origin of the spiritual veins, and these ancestors were sent back. Finally, only Lin Moyu and Xiaomei were left here. Gu Hanyu said, "Do you want to come with me?" Lin Moyu said, "If it's convenient, I'll go see how you recruit disciples and join in the fun." Xiaomei giggled and said, "Actually, the teacher wants to see how that Wu Xingguang came to ask for marriage." Gu Hanyu said, "Then let's watch together." In the main hall of Gu Hanyu Holy Land, Gu Hanyu sat at the center of the Holy Lord's throne. Lin Moyu and Xiaomei sat to the lower left of Gu Hanyu. Their identities at the moment were quite special. Only the ancestors knew the relationship between him and Gu Hanyu, and the other disciples were not clear. After discussing with several ancestors, Gu Hanyu gave Lin Moyu the identity of a Shiqing elder. With this identity, Lin Moyu was naturally qualified to sit here. Gu Hanyu gently knocked on the armrest, and a majestic and cold voice sounded, "Bring it up." After a while, 2 disciples of the Holy Land led 7 young people into the main hall. 7 young people, 3 men and 4 women, all ordinary people, looked only 16 or 17 years old. Lin Moyu took a glance and found that the 7 people's qualifications were not bad, and they were all potential cultivators. However, according to the requirements of the Hanshui Holy Land, they might not meet the standards. After the disciples of the Holy Land brought the people, they saluted to Gu Hanyu, "Greetings to the Holy Lord, the people have been brought here." This year, a total of 347 people entered the Hanbing Ancient Road, of which 280 did not complete 2/3 of the way. Of the remaining 67 people, 60 did not complete the whole way, and only they completed the whole way. The detailed information of the 7 people is here. The disciple respectfully handed a jade tablet with the information of the 7 people to Gu Yasho Chen. Gu Hanyu took the jade tablet and checked it. It contained the origins, ages, and other information of the 7 people. Xiaomei whispered in Lin Moyu's ear, Master's wife looks so majestic now. Lin Moyu also admired Gu Hanyu at this moment. He had been in a high position for a long time, and Hanyu had a temperament that ordinary practitioners could not match. When Gu Hanyu handled affairs, the majesty of the Holy Lord was undoubtedly displayed. Lin Moyu admired Gu Hanyu's beauty, which was rare and very attractive. The Hansui Holy Land was very strict in recruiting disciples, but their process was actually not complicated at all. The ancient ice passage that was opened every year was the first step. As long as people could successfully walk 2/3 of it, they actually had the opportunity to join the Hansui Holy Land. Those who could not even walk 2/3 of it, or even walked only half of it for fear of freezing to death, were eliminated early. This step tested one's will. If one's will was so unsteady, then one would not be qualified to join the Hansui Holy Land. Those who could walk 2/3 of it were already qualified. Even if they could not join the Hansui Holy Land, the Hansui Holy Land would arrange them to various small sects within its sphere of influence, become disciples, and embark on the path of cultivation. These people were not completely without a chance. As long as they performed well enough in the future, they would have the opportunity to rejoin the Hansui Holy Land. This is the usual practice of Hansui Holy Land, but these people were asked to swear an oath and not tell anyone about it. The outside world does not know that in fact, as long as you complete 2/3 of the journey, you may change your fate. Therefore, many people give up and turn back when they have walked less than halfway. Their determination is not firm enough, and they are destined to be ordinary people, spending less than 100 years of life, and they are also destined to be unable to appreciate the wider world. As for those who have completed the journey, they have proved their determination. At the very least, they can be sent to various small sects and become elite disciples in the sects. The second level, Hansui Holy Land, tests the perception of power. There are formations arranged in the hall, and they will enter the formations to perceive the power of different attributes so as to determine which kind of practice they are more suitable for. At the same time, the formations can further judge their talent. After this, the third level is to test the mind. This level is divided into 2 steps. The first is the Oath of the Great Tao, vowing never to betray Hansui Holy Land and never to do anything that is detrimental to Hansui Holy Land. The second is to create illusions by the formation to verify whether their hearts are strong enough. These 3 levels are used to determine the future path of these 7 people. In Lin Moyu's opinion, although it is not too perfect, it is actually enough. Cultivation is a long road, and there is no need to be too anxious to walk it. Many things need to go through the test of time. The whole test lasted for most of the day before it ended, and Gu Hanyu decided where the 7 people would go. 5 of them were sent to the outer gate of Hansui Holy Land and started as chores. The other 2 had better grades. Although they also entered the outer gate, they became outer disciples directly and did not need to do chores. According to Hansui Holy Land, only 2 disciples will be recruited this year, and the other 5 are still chores, not disciples. After the 7 people were taken away, Lin Moyu smiled and asked, in fact, such a small matter as recruiting disciples can be left to others. You are a saint, and you don't need to do it yourself. Gu Hanyu said, I'm used to it. I don't feel at ease if I don't keep an eye on some things myself. Lin Moyu said, but you will be very tired. Gu Hanyu said, it's okay, it will just delay some time for cultivation, nothing else. Gu Hanyu has been in charge of Hansui Holy Land for many years, and all the affairs of Hansui Holy Land are in order, much better than the previous Holy Lord. That's why the ancestors trust Gu Hanyu so much and let her decide the successor without interfering. Xiaomei said, there were several Holy Lords who only cared about their own cultivation and handed over the affairs of the Holy Land to others. Later, the affairs of the Holy Land were a mess, and even several power factions were born, and the Holy Land almost split. Gu Hanyu said, Meizu was right. Later, it was the old ancestor who took action to suppress it and stabilize the Holy Land. However, the Holy Land was also injured and it took many years to recover. So as the Holy Lord, you still have to manage it more, so that the Holy Land can be stable. Lin Moyu asked, why don't you consider getting a technological magic weapon to manage it? For example, Lu Lian in the mall. Gu Hanyu said, I also want to, but this kind of technological magic weapon that can become a housekeeper is not so easy to get. Looking at the entire origin continent, where else can you find it except in the mall? Lin Moyu was stunned for a moment. You mean, there are only such magic weapons in the mall? Gu Hanyu suddenly smiled, so there are things you don't know? Lin Moyu smiled, don't joke, I have only practiced for a few years, how can I know more than you? Gu Hanyu said, are you complaining about my old age? Lin Moyu smiled, I believe Hanyu's mind will definitely not think so. Unexpectedly, this kind of technological magic weapon is so rare. Gu Hanyu hummed, technological magic weapons are rare to begin with, and this kind of technological magic weapon that can manage affairs is naturally even rarer. I once asked the Lufeng Chamber of Commerce, and there are some technological magic weapons that can be used for auxiliary purposes, but they are far from reaching the level of Lu Lian, not even half of them. Lin Moyu felt something was wrong. If this kind of magic weapon is so rare, how could Xiao Zhantian get it by chance back then? Is it really good luck? Lin Moyu believes in luck, but never completely believes in luck. Faintly, he felt a conspiracy, as if there was a pair of big hands, making a layout. Whether it was himself or Xiao Zhantian, it seemed that they were all chess pieces in this game. Gu Hanyu noticed the change in Lin Moyu's expression. What did you think of? Lin Moyu said, I thought of something, and I felt something was wrong. I will tell you when I figure it out. Gu Hanyu nodded, then think about it first, and tell me when you think it through. At this time, a woman walked into the hall. Gu Nianshui came to the hall and was about to salute Gu Hanyu, but suddenly he was stunned on the spot, staring at Lin Moyu without blinking. Lin Moyu also saw Gu Nianshui and couldn't help laughing. What a coincidence, long time no see. Gu Nianshui instinctively asked, why are you here? Gu Hanyu knew that the two knew each other, but she still introduced, Lin Moyu is now a guest elder. Nianshui, what are you doing here? Gu Nianshui immediately reacted, Zhao Zhao's, and it was hard to hide the strange feeling in her heart, but on the surface she still saluted, Gu Nianshui has met the Holy Lord and Elder Lin. The young master of the Wu family has been asking when the Holy Lord plans to meet him. Gu Hanyu said, now, call him over. Gu Nianshui nodded, okay, I'll ask someone to bring him here. Lin Moyu smiled and said, does Hanyu know who Wu Xingwang wants to marry? Gu Hanyu shook his head. The invitation I received only said that he came to propose marriage on behalf of the Wu family, but did not say the object. Lin Moyu said, according to the information I got, the object of his marriage is Hanyu's sister, Gu Hanjing. Gu Hanyu frowned suddenly, Hanjing? This is impossible. Gu Hanyu was a little excited. Lin Moyu was very surprised. How could Gu Hanyu, who was always calm, suddenly become so excited? There must be something. Lin Moyu said, if you don't agree, directly refusing is a block. Gu Hanyu said, I can refuse now, but I am a little worried. Lin Moyu saw that Gu Hanyu seemed to have some unspeakable secrets. He whispered, if you have any questions, talk to me. Maybe I can help solve them. Gu Hanyu said, Jinger is my sister. She has a high talent for cultivation, not worse than me. When she entered the Daozuan realm, she went to the soul void out of curiosity, and then there were some problems with her soul. Lin Moyu asked, is her soul injured? Gu Hanyu shook his head, it's not that her soul is injured. We checked and her soul is still intact. But sometimes, she will forget everything, as if she has become a different person. Sometimes she will become stupid, like a child. She cultivates when she is normal, and once she finishes her cultivation, she becomes another person, and more than one person. Her cultivation talent is not affected at all, and her cultivation speed is still very fast. Now she is in the third realm of Daozuan. As her cultivation deepens, her situation seems to be getting worse, the time she spends practicing is getting shorter and shorter, and the stupidity is increasing. Just a few days ago, Jinger had other problems. She suddenly attacked people around her, and her consciousness was no longer so clear. Now I am still the Holy Lord, so I can naturally refuse Wu Xingguang, 077, but what about the future? Once I am no longer the Holy Lord, what should I do if someone comes to propose marriage? Now there is Wu Xingguang, and there may be others in the future. The ancestors have given up Jinger. Perhaps Jinger has become a tool in the eyes of some ancestors. Lin Moyu asked, "Where are your parents?" Gu Hanyu sighed, with a little sadness in his eyes. "More than 20,000 years ago, we had a conflict with the Wendao sect. Both sides paid a heavy price at that time. Needless to say, Lin Moyu also knew the result. Gu Hanyu's parents must have died in that conflict. After both parents passed away, Gu Hanyu and her sister grew up together. Needless to say, the relationship between the two sisters is naturally beyond description. If Gu Hanyu marries Lin Moyu, the one she is most worried about is Gu Hanjing. Lin Moyu said, "Then we can take Gu Hanjing away with us." Gu Hanyu shook his head. "No, I tried to take Jinger outside to seek treatment, but as soon as she left the Holy Land, Jinger would become crazy and randomly attack people around her." Listening to Gu Hanyu's description, Lin Moyu had a rough guess in his mind. Gu Hanjing's incident happened in the soul void, so it must be related to the soul. As for what happened, you can only know it after seeing it. Gu Hanjing can't leave the Hanshui Holy Land, which may be related to the Ice Avenue in the Hanshui Holy Land. In the Hanshui Holy Land, the power of the Origin Spirit Veins and the Ice Avenue is everywhere. Perhaps these two powers can suppress Gu Yaojing's soul problem. Lin Moyu was surprised. "According to what you said, she can't get married." Gu Hanyu shook his head. "Not really, she can get married. We have a secret technique." She didn't seem to want to continue, a little hesitant. At this time, Xiaomei whispered, "There is a secret technique called Ice Soul in the Holy Land. Using the Ice Soul secret technique can make the couple achieve yin and yang balance. Whether it is used for cultivation or healing, the effect is excellent. I guess the master's wife is also struggling with this. She wants to cure Jinger, but she doesn't want Jinger to get married because of this." Gu Hanyu sighed. "At present, the Ice Soul secret technique seems to be Jinger's last hope, but I am afraid that she will blame me after she recovers. Jinger once told me that she must find someone she truly loves in this life, rather than just finding someone randomly now. But in the eyes of several ancestors, Jinger has lost her value. After getting married, it would be best if she can recover. After all, she is still a member of the Holy Land. If she can't recover, at least most of the resources can be recovered. After all, it takes a lot of resources to cultivate a Taoist master." Gu Hanyu said here, looking up at Lin Moyu, "Does it feel cruel?" Lin Moyu shook his head. "No, the rule of this world is the law of the jungle, and in my opinion, this kind of marriage is more like a transaction, which is actually fair." Gu Hanyu said, "So I have been struggling. A few years ago, an ancestor proposed to marry Jinger off. Asif, Jinger is now in the Holy Land. When she is practicing, she is normal. When she is not practicing, she is either stupid or crazy. Sometimes she will act recklessly. The ancestors are also afraid that she will cause more trouble." Lin Moyu thought for a while and said, "Why not let me check her for her? Maybe I can find a way." Gu Hanyu was surprised. "Really?" Lin Moyu said, "I can only say that you can give it a try." Xiaomei smiled and said, "Teacher will definitely find a way." Figures appeared outside the hall. Gu Nianshui brought Wu Xingguang and two long-term ancestors of the Wu family in. When Wu Xingguang saw Gu Hanyu, his eyes suddenly lit up, showing a little greed, but then returned to normal. Wu Xingguang glanced at Lin Moyu. It was obvious that Lin Moyu was sitting in the position below Gu Hanyu, which surprised him a little. He saluted Gu Hanyu. "Wu Xingguang, the young master of the Wu family, greets the Jade Saint Master." Wu Xingguang's expression was well hidden, but it could not escape the eyes of Lin Moyu and Gu Hanyu. Gu Hanyu said, "Young Master Xingguang, there is no need to be polite. I received your invitation before, saying that you want to come to ask for marriage. I wonder who in the Wu family you are asking for marriage for. Who is the object of the marriage? Wu Xingguang said, Xingguang is asking for marriage for himself, and the object of the marriage is the younger sister of the Jade Saint, Fairy Jing. Gu Hanyu frowned slightly. Young Master Xingguang should find someone else. Jinger is not suitable for marriage now. Wu Xingguang couldn't help asking, why is she not suitable? Gu Hanyu snorted lightly. This Saint Lord does not need to explain to young Master Xingguang. Wu Xingguang took out a token at this time. The token was engraved with the mark of the Hanshui Holy Land, and there was an ice school on the back. This was Gu Hanbing's token, which was similar to the Gu Tsang token that Lin Moyu had obtained at that time. Gu Hanyu frowned even more tightly. She had a bad premonition. Wu Xingguang said, this is the token given by your holy master Bingzu. With this token, I can make a request to your holy land. No matter what the request is, I can make it, right? Gu Hanyu gently raised her hand, and the token automatically flew into her hand. Wu Xingguang was not afraid that Gu Hanyu would not admit it. The token was given to the Wu family by Gu Hanbing. Gu Hanyu would not do it unless she wanted to break up with the Wu family. After Gu Hanyu checked the token and confirmed that it was correct, he threw the token back to Wu Xingguang and said, it is the token of Bingzu, but I think Master Xingguang should also know the rules of my holy land. It's okay for you to ask for a marriage, but Jingwu must be willing to do it herself. Now, I, the Holy Lord, tell you on behalf of Jinger that this marriage is not possible. Change someone, I, the Holy Lord, may be able to persuade you a little. Wu Xingguang's expression did not change, and he chuckled. If Fairy Jing herself does not want to, I naturally cannot force her, but I want to hear Fairy Jing say it herself. As long as Fairy Jing refuses in person, I will turn around and leave without saying anything. You. Gu Hanyu suddenly realized that Wu Xingguang must know Gu Hanjing's situation, so she said so. She was a little embarrassed for a moment. Facing the token of the Ice Ancestor, even if she was the Holy Lord, she had to do things according to the rules. At this time, Lin Moyu's voice slowly sounded. In other words, you are now holding the Ice Ancestor token, and the request you put forward is for Gu Hanjing to refuse you in person. Lin Moyu's sudden interruption made Wu Xingguang somewhat unhappy. He held the Ice Ancestor token, which made it difficult for Gu Hanyu to refuse easily, and he also clearly felt Gu Hanyu's embarrassment. In addition, with the information he had, it was impossible for Gu Hanjing to come and refuse him in person. This gave him an illusion of controlling the overall situation, especially when he was facing a Holy Land master like Gu Hanyu, which made Wu Xingguang feel extremely accomplished. But just when he was about to continue to enhance his sense of accomplishment, Lin Moyu interrupted him, which made him very unhappy. But in front of Gu Hanyu, Wu Xingguang still maintained the demeanor of a young master of the Wu family. He looked at Lin Moyu. Fellow Taoist Lin, today is the third time we meet, right? Xingguang still doesn't know what fellow Taoist Lin is. Gu Hanyu said, he is only Elder Lin. Wu Xingguang smiled slightly. So it's Elder Lin. I'm so disrespectful. I wonder what Elder Lin meant by what he said just now. Lin Moyu smiled. You came to ask for marriage, but Hanyu refused, and then you took out the Ice Ancestor token and said that Fairy Jing must refuse you in person. Does that mean that your request was made with the Ice Ancestor token? If Fairy Jing refuses you in person, your Ice Ancestor token will also be taken back by us. Wu Xingguang thought about it, and it seemed to be the truth. But it felt wrong. The Ice Ancestor token should not be used like this. This token can make Hanshui Holy Land do something. How could it only be rejected? But if the token was not used, Gu Hanyu would directly refuse, and he didn't even have a chance. Originally, he just wanted to use the token to embarrass Gu Hanyu, and then take advantage of the situation, but he didn't expect. Seeing Wu Xingguang silent, Lin Moyu continued, Dao Yu Xingguang, give me a definite answer whether it is yes or no. As the young master of the Wu family, you must be decisive. Hesitation makes people laugh. Wu Xingguang was provoked by Lin Moyu, and his eyes changed significantly, and his heart was even more in turmoil. No, according to the information I have, Gu Hanjing can't answer my questions. And the inability to answer means that he can't refuse in person. Does it mean that the information I got is wrong? Or is this guy cheating me? Wu Xingguang was about to speak, and suddenly his ears moved, and the Seven Realms ancestor behind him sent a message. The value of this token is far more than this. Don't agree to it casually. Think about the rules of Hansui Holy Land. Use your brain. Wu Xingguang was slightly startled, and the whole person suddenly woke up. He is not a fool. Even if he is a fool, it is impossible to cultivate to this level. At most he can only be regarded as a little impulsive and narrow-minded. After thinking about it, he immediately found a breakthrough. Wu Xingguang smiled. Friend Lin is not surnamed Gu. If I remember correctly, the elders of Hansui Holy Land with other surnames are not allowed to interfere in the internal affairs of the Gu family of Hansui Holy Land. Actually, this young master's marriage proposal is a matter between my Wu family and Gu family. You, an elder from another family, have to intervene. Lin Moyu smiled lightly. Fellow Taoist Xingguang may not know that in addition to being an elder from another family, I have another identity. Wu Xingguang said, Can't I have any identity? At this time, Gu Hanyu's voice with a cold tone sounded, Elder Lin is also the husband of this Saint Master. What? Wu Xingguang froze in place as if struck by lightning, and even his expression froze. Not only him, but also the two Seventh Realm ancestors behind him showed disbelief. Not to mention them, even Gu Nianshui on the side was stunned at this time. In her opinion, this kind of thing is even more unbelievable. Lin Moyu smiled and said, Fairy Jing is Lin's sister-in-law. Do you think Lin can take care of this matter? After a few seconds, Wu Xingguang finally reacted, Impossible, this is absolutely impossible. Yu Xingzhu is the Holy Lord of Hansui Holy Land. According to the rules of Hansui Holy Land, the Holy Lord cannot marry. Gu Hanyu's voice was cold. Whether the Holy Lord can marry or not is the internal affairs of my Hansui Holy Land, and there is no need to explain it to you. Lin Moyu said, Wu Dao Yu, instead of caring about the rules of Hansui Holy Land, you might as well continue to talk about your marriage proposal. The question just now has not been answered. You hold the token of Bingzu. What exactly do you want to ask for? If you have a request, just say it. If it can be done, Hanyu will definitely not refuse. If it can't be done, I'm sorry, even if Bingzu comes in person, things that can't be done can't be done. We in Hansui Holy Land are very reasonable. We never force disciples to marry, and we won't make some mean requests. Lin Moyu was smiling at this moment. His smile fell into Wu Xingguang's eyes, which was naked mockery, as if to say, what you did was really mean and not presentable. At this time, Wu Xingguang's heart was burning with a flame of jealousy. Lin Moyu could actually marry Gu Hanyu. What virtue did he have? But he could only ask Gu Hanjing for marriage, and others refused to agree. Marrying Gu Hanjing is naturally not as good as marrying Gu Hanyu. Wu Xingguang knows which one is stronger. Under Lin Moyu's smile, Wu Xingguang felt that he was forced into a dead end. 0 seeking flowers 00. He now has only two choices. One is to continue to use the token to make the previous request and force Gu Hanjing to reject him in person. The other is to take the token and leave in disgrace, just as if this incident never happened. But in that case, even if he loses face completely, he can imagine what kind of face those old guys will give him after returning to the family. The Wu family is not the Hansui Holy Land. The internal competition is very fierce. He will easily become a discarded child. In the Wu family, he is a Daozuan without potential, and he is nothing at all. And after this matter is spread, it will be more difficult for him to ask for marriage from other forces. So, in fact, he only has one choice, betting that Gu Hanjing cannot reject him in person. But what if I bet wrong? Why, fellow Xingguang still can't make a decision. Why don't you go back and think about it first, and then come back when you have made a decision? Lin Moyu's tone was very sincere, and he looked like a good old man. But in Wu Xingguang's eyes, it was full of wind and teasing. Wu Xingguang's head suddenly became hot, and all his hesitation disappeared in an instant. He gritted his teeth and said, "Yes, I just want Fairy Jing to say it herself. This is my request." Lin Moyu glanced at Gu Hanyu, and Gu Hanyu gave Lin Moyu a look, indicating that everything was up to him. Lin Moyu smiled and said, "In that case, then you go back and rest first. Fairy Jing is in retreat and practice, let's go and call her out." This reason is very appropriate and reasonable, and there is nothing wrong with it. Wu Xingwang asked in a deep voice, "How many days do we have to wait?" Lin Moyu said, "It's hard to say. It depends on how much Fairy Jing has practiced before she can break through. That may take a little longer." Wu Xingwang said coldly, "So, does that mean I have to wait for decades or hundreds of years?" Lin Moyu said, "That's not the case. Although I can't tell you the exact time, I think it won't be too long. Since you've come to ask for marriage, you shouldn't be so impatient." Wu Xingwang snorted coldly, "I hope it won't take too long." Wu Xingwang left in anger. The matter had come to this point, and he could only wait. No matter what, he couldn't turn against Gu Hanyu here, otherwise he would be courting death. After they left, Gu Hanyu's face was full of worry. Lin Moyu smiled and said, "Don't worry, go see my sister-in-law Ling first." Gu Hanyu used the teleportation ability of the Origin Spirit Vein to directly teleport herself and Lin Moyu to a quiet courtyard. Above the courtyard, a formation was in operation, and powerful forces fell from the formation, sealing the courtyard. Gu Hanyu said, "Jinger is inside. In recent years, her condition has become worse and worse. She has been practicing for less and less time, and has been stupid for longer and longer. Sometimes she will attack people around her. I can only use the formation to trap her inside." Gu Hanyu was helpless in her words. Gu Hanjing was her biological sister, and the two sisters had a good relationship. If there was any other way, she would not do this. Gu Hanjing was a Taoist master. Once she took action, the power of the Taoist master would burst out, and those disciples who were not worthy of the Taoist master would inevitably suffer casualties. Once this happened, it would be a real trouble, so she could only be trapped by the formation. Lin Moyu didn't rush in, but 490 looked at Xiaomei. "Xiaomei, do you have anything to add about the Ice Soul secret art?" Xiaomei stuck out her tongue, looking very cute. "I haven't finished talking just now. In addition to the hope that Gu Hanjing will return to normal, the Ice Soul secret art will also bring great benefits to the opposite S*X who practice together. In simple terms, a part of the power will be transferred to the fellow practitioners. Your own power will decrease, and the power of the fellow practitioners will increase. This is also the disadvantage of the Ice Soul secret art." Lin Moyu asked, "How much will it decrease?" Xiaomei said, "About half. If you are in the third realm of Daozun, you can stay in the realm of Daozun with good luck, but if you are not lucky, you may fall to the realm of Daozun." Lin Moyu probably already understood why Wu Xingwang wanted to ask Gu Hanjing for marriage. The purpose was for Gu Hanjing's Ice Soul secret art. To put it bluntly, the Ice Soul secret art is a kind of dual cultivation technique, but this dual cultivation technique has more benefits for the other half. It is not the kind of secret technique that improves both yin and yang together, but more like a secret technique that makes wedding clothes for others. Gu Hanyu said, "I think the Wu family should know Jinger's situation, so they came here so confidently to ask for marriage." Lin Moyu thought for a moment and said, "Maybe it's more than that. If it's just this little cultivation, the value is far less than a piece of Ice Ancestor token. He came with the Ice Ancestor token, and his goal must be bigger." Gu Hanyu asked curiously, "What else can he want?" Lin Moyu shook his head, "I don't know yet. In fact, it's very simple to know. I'll kill them and I'll know." Gu Hanyu's voice was cold. "Even if we want to kill them, it's not now. We can only do it after they leave the range of Hansui Holy Land." Lin Moyu couldn't help laughing. It seems that Hanyu has already thought about it. Gu Hanyu nodded. "Of course, don't you look at yourself? Use the Ice Ancestor token to threaten me, I will die. Having been in charge of Hansui Holy Land for so many years, Gu Hanyu is famous for his decisive killing in the entire Hansui Holy Land. Even if he finally agreed to Wu Xingguang would not be able to return to the Wu family safely. His life would definitely be lost on the way. Even if there are 2 7th realm ancestors to protect him, it will be useless. It will only kill a few more people. Lin Moyu said, "Open the formation. I'll go see my sister-in-law. If I can cure her, I'll try my best. If I can't, I'll go kill those guys and get the Ice Ancestor token back. Don't worry, if I really do this, I guarantee that the Wu family will not find any handle and will not cause trouble to Hansui Holy Land." Gu Hanyu nodded and opened the formation. The small courtyard covered by the formation seemed extremely quiet, without a trace of noise. There was a tree in the courtyard, a special tree that could grow in a cold environment. The leaves of this tree were silver and fell all over the courtyard, indicating that no one had come to the courtyard for a long time. Gu Hanyu was too busy, so she would come to see it when she was free, but it was just a look. Over the years, she had seen it countless times, and every time she saw it, it would hurt her heart. A woman in blue was sitting there quietly practicing in the fallen leaves in the courtyard. Gu Hanjing looks 70% similar to Gu Hanyu, but her face is softer and quieter. The two have their own merits in appearance. Gu Hanyu said, "Jinger is practicing. She will not wake up before the practice is over." Lin Moyu has seen that Gu Ranjing's current state is very unusual. From an ordinary perspective, she is indeed practicing. Whether it is the fluctuation of her breath or the state she shows, it is no different from practicing. But in Lin Moyu's eyes, she is not practicing, but fighting. The Eye of the Dead has been opened, and Lin Moyu saw Gu Hanjing's soul flame. The soul flame is beating violently. When a normal person is practicing, the soul flame cannot be so violent. Only when the soul power is fully used, the soul flame will jump so violently. Gu Hanjing is like this at this moment. The soul flame is burning and jumping wildly, which means that she is urging the soul power fiercely. But there is no fluctuation of soul power overflowing from her body, as if there is a force that seals her breath. Lin Moyu said, "There is indeed a problem." Gu Hanyu's eyes changed slightly. "What did you see?" Lin Moyu said, "There is indeed a problem with the soul, but it is not an ordinary soul damage. The details need to be seen. In fact, the most direct way is to enter Gu Hanjing's soul world and see what is going on. But Gu Hanjing is in this state now, it is impossible for her to actively open the soul channel, so she can only force her way in. If she forces her way in, it is very likely to cause damage to Gu Hanjing's soul world." Just when Lin Moyu was considering whether to force her way in, Gu Hanyu said, "We tried to force her way into Jinger's soul world, but it didn't work." Lin Moyu asked curiously, "But don't go in?" Gu Hanjing is only in the 3rd realm of Daozun. With Gu Hanyu's cultivation, he should not be unable to break in. Gu Hanyu said, "Not only can I not break in, but Bingzu can't break in either. We have tried various methods and failed." Lin Moyu said, "I'll try." As he said this, his soul power reached out and touched Gu Hanjing's brow. The soul force probed in and followed Gu Hanjing's own power to find the location of the soul world. This method is very direct and effective. Most soul attacks are achieved in this way. Soon, Lin Moyu found Gu Hanjing's soul world. But when he was about to force his way in, an invisible and powerful 1.4 force suddenly jumped out of Gu Hanjing's soul world, directly shaking Lin Moyu's soul power away. This force is very strong and integrated with Gu Hanjing's own power. If you want to defeat this force, you need to strengthen your soul power, which will inevitably cause damage to Gu Hanjing's soul world. It is precisely because of this that Gu Hanyu and Bingzu finally had to give up. They wanted to help Gu Hanjing heal his injuries, not to kill people. Lin Moyu said, "I really can't get in." Gu Hanyu said, "We all know that Jinger has a problem with her soul, but we can't find the problem if we can't get in. We tried all kinds of methods, but the results were not ideal, and Jinger's condition became more and more serious. Lin Moyu comforted, "Don't worry, just because others can't do it doesn't mean I can't do it. I'll set up a formation first, and then go and take a look." Lin Moyu quickly set up a Great Sealing Array. This Great Sealing Array was only of the 7th level, and it was just a simple talisman array. He didn't need to set up a too powerful Great Sealing Array. After all, Gu Hanjing was only at the 3rd level of Dao Zun, and a 7th level talisman array was enough. Lin Moyu's smooth array formation technique amazed Gu Xiangyu. Although Gu Hanyu knew that Lin Moyu knew the formation, he couldn't help but be amazed every time he saw this kind of array formation technique. Just like a good song or a beautiful dance, you can't help but want to listen to it more and more. The Great Sealing Array enveloped Gu Hanjing, and Gu Hanjing showed no signs of waking up, which made Lin Moyu more certain that Gu Hanjing was not practicing at the moment. Gu Hanyu asked, "What do you want to do?" Lin Moyu said, "Go and see my sister-in-law's soul world." Gu Hanyu was even more confused. "You can't get in, how can you see it?" Lin Moyu said, "See it from the soul void." After saying that, in Gu Hanyu's shocked eyes, Lin Moyu's mind sank into the soul world. At this time, he had completed the avenue lock on Gu Hanjing. The distance between the two was not far, and logically, the soul worlds would not be too far apart. It's just that his soul world has changed its mapping position after this period of migration. Whether it is far or not, you have to try it to know. If it is close enough, then use the soul to go directly. If it is too far, then move the entire soul world to the location where Gu Hanjing is, which will take a little more time. Lin Moyu is not in a hurry. It's not like facing the Black Blood Fist Saint in the 9 Extreme Glacier. His avenue lock on the enemy will not be erased and can exist for a long time. In the dim soul void, Lin Moyu's soul world was also dim. The outside of the soul world had been wrapped by branches of the world tree, and the breath in the soul world would not seep out. The dragon soul crystal was now turning into a dragon, and together with the world tree, it moved with the soul world. Lin Moyu left the soul world silently, and he carefully sensed Gu Hanjing's position outside the soul world. In the soul void, the power of the avenue was almost non-existent, and once the distance was far, there would be no sense at all. Fortunately, the distance was not too far. Lin Moyu still vaguely sensed the direction, and the distance should not be very far. He asked the Dragon Soul Crystal to stop and temporarily stopped his soul world from moving. "You go back first, and the 2 soul crystals can be eaten." Dragon Soul Crystal received Lin Moyu's order and excitedly returned to the soul world to enjoy its deliciousness. 2 soul crystals, one from the Black Blood Fist Saint. Although it was a half-crippled Black Blood Fist Saint, the quality of the soul crystal was still not low. The other piece was the giant python, which was much worse, but it was also a soul crystal after all. Dragon Soul Crystal said that it was not picky. Lin Moyu followed the vague direction and entered the soul void again. The soul void had no coordinates and no sense of direction, so he could only walk by feeling. Before setting off, Lin Moyu left a rune on his soul world as usual to double-lock the coordinates and reduce the possibility of getting lost. Then he brought out the Calamity Scepter. If he encountered an enemy, the Calamity Scepter would be his strongest trump card. After flying in the soul void for a while, he finally saw a soul world not far away. This soul world appeared suddenly. It was not visible before. Only when it reached a certain distance, you would know that there was a soul world here. This is one of the rules of the soul void. Only when you get close, you can know whether there is a soul world here. This rule applies to everyone, and no one can be an exception. Entering the soul void several times, the soul void gave Lin Moyu the feeling of the starry sky in the big world, and each soul world was like a planet. It's just that there are stars in the big world, and the planets will reflect the starlight to make themselves conspicuous. In the soul void, there is no permanence, and the soul world becomes extremely hidden. Lin Moyu continued to approach and gradually saw Gu Hanjing's soul world clearly. Sure enough, there is something wrong with the soul world. Outside Gu Hanjing's soul world, countless creatures similar to insects appeared. These creatures are soul bodies unique to the soul void. They only have souls but no flesh and blood. The big insects surrounded Gu Hanjing's soul world as if they were parasitic on it, causing the entire soul world to change. Moreover, Lin Moyu found that these insects seemed to have merged with Gu Hanjing's soul world. If you wanted to attack these soul insects, it would be equivalent to attacking Gu Hanjing's soul world. Moreover, the insects are not only attached to the outside of the soul world, but also exist in large numbers inside the soul world. These soul insects, why do I feel like I've seen them somewhere? Lin Moyu thought about it and remembered that he had seen similar soul insects in the Ice and Fire Secrets. The two are not the same, but they have similarities, and they are very likely from the same clan. Just like the Zerg, there are actually dozens of species inside, and their appearances and abilities are different, but they all belong to the Zerg. Lin Moyu did not act immediately. He observed carefully and thought about how to deal with these ministers. If possible, Gu Hanjing must not be harmed. If there is really no way, the most important thing is to clean up these bugs, even if the soul is damaged. As long as the bugs are cleaned up and Gu Hanjing can have a breath left, the spirit flower can be used to save him. After watching for a while, Lin Moyu did not think of a good way to have the best of both worlds. Let's try it first. He flew over and approached Gu Hanjing's soul world. The bugs attached to the soul world found Lin Moyu and raised their heads to look at Lin Moyu. For a moment, the soul void became lively, and wings grew behind these bugs, and the sound of the soul was buzzing. The next second, a large number of soul bugs rushed towards Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu flicked his finger, and the flame exploded. The world-burning fire burned fiercely and illuminated a large area of the void. 117. The world-burning fire turned into a sea of fire, instantly devouring all the insects. Although there were many insects, they were not strong individually, and they were burned to ashes almost the moment they entered the sea of fire. A large amount of powder appeared in the void. These powders are the soul crystals refined from the insects. The soul crystals are very small and not strong, just like these insects. In fact, they are not strong themselves. According to the realm, it is almost the level of the first and second realms of Dao Zun. The key is the quantity, which becomes the quality. If Gu Hanjing can cultivate to the fourth realm of Dao Zun, then the soul will be greatly improved. At that time, no matter how many insects there are, no matter how much qualitative change, it will be a threat to her. Lin Moyu gradually began to understand why Gu Hanjing would seize every opportunity to cultivate. Because she was saving herself, she also knew that only by cultivating to the fourth realm of Dao Zun could she get rid of the predicament and regain her vitality. What a strong person, no worse than Hanyu. The two sisters Gu Hanyu and Gu Hanjing have similar characteristics. They will not give up easily, especially in desperate situations. They will try every possible way to save themselves, and they are very decisive. That's why Gu Hanyu used Lian Lizi. It's a pity that she ended up losing herself. Lin Moyu said to herself, if she can get through this level, I'm afraid her cultivation will be greatly improved. By then, let alone the fourth realm of Dao Zun, it's possible to reach the fifth realm. Lin Moyu was wearing the fire of burning the world, like a god in fire. At this time, Gu Hanjing's soul world was not only wrapped by these insects, but also had many tiny holes on the surface. Her soul world was like a balloon with thousands of holes. Lin Moyu saw the internal situation of the soul world through these holes. Gu Hanjing's soul was fighting with these insects, and she kept killing insects. She not only killed insects, but also sucked away the soul fragments of insects to replenish her own strength. Fortunately, Gu Hanjing's soul was still intact. The intact soul kept inflating the soul world, making the entire soul world barely maintain its complete form. However, Lin Moyu also saw that Gu Han was fighting very hard. Although insects were constantly killed, her soul was constantly hurt. Most of the soul power obtained after killing the insects was used to restore herself, and because there was no time to purify and refine these external soul powers, Gu Hanjing's soul was no longer so pure, and there were many impurities. For a cultivator, the purity of the soul is very important. If the soul is not pure, it is difficult to advance to a higher realm. Gu Hanjing had an accident when she was promoted to the Daozuan realm, that is to say, she has been dealing with these insects since the first Daozuan realm. Under such circumstances, it is rare for Gu Hanjing to be able to cultivate to the third Daozuan realm. Lin Moyu did not take action immediately, but watched quietly. He could see that there was no danger when Shi Hanjing slashed. The battle was about to come to an end, and Gu Hanjing had begun to retreat. Gu Hanjing was now in the center of the soul. She fought and retreated, and in the process of retreating, the center of the soul was given up. A large number of insects quickly occupied the soul, and finally the area occupied by Gu Hanjing became smaller and smaller. After Gu Hanjing retreated to a certain extent, she took out a soul magic weapon. This magic weapon looks like dragon scales, with complex and mysterious patterns engraved on it. Gu Hanjing activated the magic weapon, and the magic weapon suddenly bloomed with the power of ice. The sudden appearance of ice froze a large number of insects. The ice turned into a wall, winning a living space for Gu Hanjing. Gu Hanjing immediately began to refine the soul power she had just absorbed, while repairing her own injuries. However, no matter how she refined it, it had been a few nights, and the impurities in her soul were still increasing. At this time, most of the soul world was occupied by insects. In reality, Gu Hanjing had ended her cultivation and became stupid, and sometimes even made some strange moves. If she waited for her to recover, and then fought with the insects again to regain control of part of her soul, she would enter the state of cultivation in reality. In fact, this was the time when she fought with the insects. However, the ice wall could not last too long, and the time left for Gu Hanjing to refine and recover would not be too long. After each use of this soul magic weapon, you need to wait for a certain period of time before you can use it again. The time the magic weapon waits for recovery is the time Gu Hanjing fights with the insects. Gu Hanjing needs to use the method of fighting to buy time for the magic weapon and for herself. In the process of repeated repetition, Gu Hanjing's cultivation level increased rapidly, and the impurities in her soul also increased rapidly. The most troublesome thing is that the bugs are multiplying rapidly, and the speed of reproduction must be faster than Gu Hanjing's killing speed. Lin Moyu believes that there must not be so many bugs when they first arrived. If there were so many bugs at the beginning, Gu Hanjing would not have been able to hold on until now. But now with more and more bugs, it is hard to say how long Gu Hanjing can hold on. At the same time, Lin Moyu also figured out why Gu Hanjing couldn't leave the Hanshui Holy Land. It was also because of this soul magic weapon, the power of the Ice Avenue in the Hanshui Holy Land, which could make the soul magic weapon recover faster and shorten the cooling time. This is Gu Hanjing's most important treasure at present. How can he leave? The reason why outsiders cannot break into the soul world in a normal way is also because of these ministers. These bugs have surrounded the soul world. If you want to break in, you must first face these bugs. Then you can only increase your strength to force your way in, but in that case, you may hurt Gu Hanjing. For souls, most people in the origin continent are often helpless. Lin Moyu has seen it clearly, and his eyes reveal praise. He is indeed a strong person. Even in this situation, he has not given up. He is very similar to Han Yu. But there are too many impurities in the soul. It is not easy to be promoted to the fourth realm of Dao Zun in this situation. But fortunately, I am here, and your bad luck should end. Lin Moyu flew half a circle around the soul world, and then chose a relatively large hole. He controlled the fire of the world, carefully expanded the hole, and then drilled in. The location he chose was just outside Gu Hanjing's ice wall. The two were separated by an ice wall, and the only safe place was behind the wall. Lin Moyu looked at Gu Hanjing, and behind him were countless soul bugs. At this time, Lin Moyu was shrouded by the world-burning fire, and the soul bugs could not get close to him at all. He stretched out his hand and knocked on the ice wall a few times, just like knocking on the door. The sound was not heavy, but it was clearly transmitted behind the ice wall. Gu Hanjing, who was refining the soul, suddenly opened her eyes and saw Lin Moyu standing behind the ice wall. There was disbelief in her eyes. You? Who are you? Perhaps because she had not spoken for too many years, or perhaps because Lin Moyu's appearance shocked her, her voice trembled and stuttered a little. Lin Moyu said, "My name is Lin Moyu, I'm your sister, I'm here to save you." The next second, Gu Hanjing's eyes widened. "Doctor?" Lin Moyu nodded. "Yes, Hanyu is my wife." After Gu Hanjing reacted, he obviously didn't believe Lin Moyu's words. "Impossible, my sister said that she would not marry." Lin Moyu smiled. "Sometimes what you said can be changed. The details, Guji Hanyu will tell you after I save you." As he said that, Lin Moyu waved his hand, and a huge wall of fire was formed. The fire wall replaced the ice wall and formed a defense. The fire wall formed by the burning world fire is more powerful than the ice wall. All the insects that rushed over were burned to death by the burning world fire and refined into powdered soul crystals. Lin Moyu said, "Remove the ice wall, I will treat your injuries first." Gu Hanjing did not doubt Lin Moyu's identity. She knew that Lin Moyu's appearance might be her only chance. Now she could only grasp Zhao's good as a life-saving straw, otherwise she would have no way out. Lin Moyu came to Gu Hanjing and looked at her soul. "Do you think that as long as you can be promoted to the fourth realm of Daozun, you can kill all these electrons?" Gu Hanjing admitted generously, "Yes, there are just a lot of them, not very strong. As long as I can be promoted to the fourth realm of Daozun, I will definitely kill them all." Lin Moyu said, "You are right, but it is difficult for you to be promoted to the fourth realm of Daozun." Gu Hanjing also admitted this. "You should try it, right?" Lin Moyu smiled and said, "You are very similar to Hanyu. You will never give up until the end." With a light touch of his fingers, a spiritual flower bloomed. "I will help you remove the impurities in your soul first." Gu Hanjing did not resist the spiritual flower, and was wrapped by the spiritual flower. There are two kinds of impurities in the soul. One is the on, which will become less and less as the realm is improved. This kind of impurity spiritual flower is ineffective. There is also another kind of impurities that come from outside. These impurities will pollute the soul, which is actually a kind of injury. These impurities can be removed with spiritual flowers. Fortunately, Gu Hanjing's cultivation was not high, and the spirit flower was like a magic medicine to her, and the impurities in her soul were quickly removed at a speed visible to the naked eye. Lin Moyu was not in a hurry to remove the soul bugs. He carefully observed Gu Hanjing's soul world. Her soul world was neither strong nor weak, and it was average in the Daozuan realm. There were 6 magic stars, which also meant that she had 6 magics. Countless soul bugs had surrounded the magic stars, and they were invading. The magic stars were shining, releasing powerful power to resist the soul bugs. The magic stars can be said to be the foundation of cultivators, and it is difficult to be invaded. The soul bugs can only weaken the magic strength to a certain extent, but cannot really occupy the magic stars. Unless one day Gu Hanjing's soul body is also occupied by bugs, the magic stars will fall. Lin Moyu looked at the location of the magic stars, and he felt that he could make good use of it. He began to think about how to deal with these soul bugs. He wanted a lot, not only to save Gu Hanjing, but also to help Gu Hanjing take a big step forward. In the cultivation, the balance of yin and yang is interdependent, and fortune and misfortune are interdependent. The soul bug is a disaster, but also an opportunity. If it is solved well, it will be a rare opportunity for Gu Hanjing, and the sufferings of these years will eventually turn into nectar. 313. Gradually, Lin Moyu had an idea, and quickly began to simulate, and found that what he thought should be feasible. After a while, Gu Hanjing woke up from the spirit flower, and the power of the spirit flower was exhausted at this moment, turning into a light spot and dissipating. Gu Hanjing hadn't felt so comfortable for a long time. The impurities in the soul body were completely removed, and the whole soul was clear and transparent, making her feel extremely happy. "Thank you, brother-in-law." Gu Hanjing called her sister happily. It was just a spirit flower, and she decisively sold her sister. This is also normal. When she was most desperate, Lin Moyu, her brother-in-law, came from the void and relieved her after many years. Such a brother-in-law, Gu Hanjing hopes to have more. Lin Moyu looked at Gu Hanjing and said as if commenting, "Your soul is clear and all impurities are gone. You already have the foundation to move forward. Although you have suffered a lot in these years, your heart of Tao has become more firm, which can also become the condition for your progress. I have an idea. If it succeeds, it will not only solve your current predicament, but also greatly improve your cultivation. However, you will have to endure some pain in the process. If you don't want to, I have another more conservative method, but you can't get the benefits." Akfi. Gu Hanjing made a choice without hesitation. "Brother-in-law, help me go further." Lin Moyu was surprised. "So decisive?" Gu Hanjing nodded vigorously. "I believe that there will be blessings after surviving a great disaster. I will fight for this blessing myself." Lin Moyu laughed. "The country and the sky will help you." Gu Hanjing asked, "Thank you, brother-in-law, what should I do?" Lin Moyu said, "You don't have to do anything here, but you have to bear the pain in the meantime, and brother-in-law can't do anything." Gu Hanjing nodded slightly. "God will do it." She trusted Lin Moyu very much at this moment. After all, for so many years, only Lin Moyu could come here to save her. Lin Moyu flew out of the firewall. He was covered with the fire of burning the world, and the soul bugs could not get close to him at all. Lin Moyu used the fire of burning the world as ink, combined with his own soul power, and quickly drew runes. Mysterious and complex fire runes flew out from his fingers and flew to every corner of the soul world. In the blink of an eye, Gu Hanjing's soul world was already covered with fire runes. If it was a month ago, Lin Moyu would never be able to draw runes with the fire of burning the world as easily as it is now. But after getting the method of drawing runes from Gu Hanyu, Lin Moyu had a new understanding of runes. Unconsciously, his runes began to have the characteristics of divine runes and were transforming into divine runes. One of the characteristics of divine runes is that they fuse soul power with other properties of matter or power, not just soul power. Lin Moyu is now fusing soul power with the fire of the world, drawing runes similar to divine runes. The rune array formed in this way will be more powerful than ordinary rune arrays, but weaker than divine rune arrays. Gu Hanjing stood behind the firewall, watching Lin Moyu draw runes, his eyes full of appreciation. Lin Moyu's movements were so beautiful, natural, with the charm of Taoism. At this moment he was like a fairy. "Brother-in-law is so amazing." Gu Hanjing couldn't help but exclaimed, "Sister is so amazing, she can find such an amazing brother-in-law." Lin Moyu didn't know what she was thinking. After arranging the array, he transmitted a voice to Gu Hanjing, "I'm going to start. The pain is coming, you have to bear it well." Gu Hanjing said, "Don't worry, I can bear it." Lin Moyu snapped his fingers, behind the formation. The formation started to work, and in an instant, countless flames spread throughout the soul world. Gu Hanjing's soul world turned into a sea of fire, and it was a sea of fire formed by the burning world fire. The burning world fire can refine the soul. With Gu Hanjing's soul, only a little bit of the burning world fire can burn her to death. So Lin Moyu must control it very accurately to ensure Gu Hanjing's safety. Otherwise, instead of saving the person, he would be burned to death by himself, which would be a lot of fun. So he chose to use the formation. Only the formation can achieve this effect. If the burning world fire is used directly to evolve the sea of fire, although it can also burn the soul bugs to death, but the health of the spirit is difficult to guarantee. The burning world fire burned fiercely, and countless soul bugs were burned to death and turned into powder-like soul crystals. Although each powder is inconspicuous, the advantage is that the number is extremely large, and it is also quite considerable when added together. Lin Moyu controlled the formation and quickly cleared the soul bugs inside the soul world. The place where the burning world fire burned was extremely clean. Then the burning world fire began to burn towards the outer shell of the soul world, where there were still a large number of soul bugs, and these soul bugs were the most difficult to remove. They almost stuck together in the soul world. While burning them to death, it was inevitable that Gu Hanjing's soul world would be hurt. This situation was inevitable, and Lin Moyu had no good way, so he could only let Gu Hanjing bear it himself. The outer shell of the soul world and the soul bugs were burned by the burning world fire. The intense pain was transmitted to Gu Hanjing's soul body. The soul world was destroyed, and Gu Hanjing, the master, would inevitably be affected. Gu Hanjing's soul curled up and trembled in pain, but she didn't make any sound, not even a hum. Lin Moyu asked in a voice transmission, "Can you still hold on?" Gu Hanjing gritted her teeth and said, "No problem, I can hold on." It can be seen that Gu Hanjing is very strong. If she hadn't been strong for so many years, she would have given up long ago. Lin Moyu burned even faster, thinking that a short pain was better than a long one. 1/10 of the soul world was burned. Lin Moyu stopped and threw out a spiritual flower. The spiritual flower bloomed, covering the burned area. Under the effect of the spiritual flower, the burned area began to recover rapidly. Lin Moyu began to burn another area, clearing all the soul bugs on it, leaving no one behind. Lin Moyu used the spirit flower to treat every 10th he burned, and then continued to burn another area. At the same time, Lin Moyu also controlled the burning speed, trying to keep it consistent with the healing speed of the spirit flower. In this cycle, the shell of Gu Hanjing's soul world quickly became clean. Under the treatment of the spirit flower, the shell of the new soul world shone like crystal, no longer having the broken feeling of the previous one. At this moment, Gu Hanjing was in pain and happy. The fire of the burning world brought her severe pain, which made her unbearable. But when the spirit flower was treating, there was an indescribable sense of comfort. Two completely opposite feelings, extraordinary without conflict, and they appeared together. Gu Hanjing was a little confused, and couldn't tell whether it was real pain or fake pleasure. She simply didn't care, sticking to the heart of Tao, whether you were in pain or pleasure, accepting everything. In Lin Moyu's view, Gu Hanjing's Tao heart was becoming more and more stable, and such a Tao heart would be of great benefit to the future. This disaster was actually an unimaginable test for Gu Hanjing. No matter what happens in the future, Gu Hanjing can deal with it calmly. There is no construction without destruction. In the destruction, Gu Hanjing's soul world was reborn. All the bugs from the soul void were cleaned up, and the new soul world was as crystal clear as crystal. Even Gu Hanjing's soul was glowing slightly. Lin Moyu waved his hand to remove the formation, and billions of glimmers gathered in his palm. The glimmer is the soul crystal left after the soul bugs were burned to death. These soul crystals are too small, but fortunately there are many, and they are quite considerable when added together. Lin Moyu sent these soul crystals to Gu Hanjing, absorbed them, right? Gu Hanjing asked curiously, "Sister, what is this?" Lin Moyu said, "Soul crystals are what those insects are refined after they die. You got similar things when you killed them before, but they were not refined and purified, and there were too many impurities. These are the products after purification, and there will be no side effects. After you absorb them, feel them well, and your cultivation will be greatly improved in a short time, and the suffering you have endured over the years will not be in vain." Gu Hanjing shouted happily, "Really, brother-in-law is so good, thank you brother-in-law." Gu Hanjing thanked him generously, calling him brother-in-law diligently. Lin Moyu found that Gu Hanjing was still a little different from her sister. Gu Hanyu may have been the Holy Lord for a long time, and he is usually cold and serious. Gu Hanjing is much more lively. Even though she has suffered so much over the years, her true nature is revealed once she is rescued. Lin Moyu said, "Okay, I should go back. You should be awake after practicing. Your sister is waiting outside." Gu Hanjing nodded, "I'll just adapt." After losing control of the soul world for so many years, Gu Hanjing really needs to adapt. Gu Hanjing came to the center of the soul world, sat cross-legged, and opened a passage for Lin Moyu to leave. She waved to Lin Moyu, "Goodbye, brother-in-law, we'll see you later." Lin Moyu chuckled, "See you later." When he left, he saw Gu Rangjing absorb all the spirit crystals into his body. Lin Moyu shook his head slightly, "You are really impatient." He left Gu Hanjing's soul world and returned along his own path. This time, there was no accident, and Lin Moyu returned to his soul world accurately. In the soul world, Dragon Soul Crystal was still refining soul crystals. The soul crystal of the Black Blood Fist Saint was at a higher level, so the refining speed was not fast. But it was precisely because of this that Dragon Soul Crystal gained a lot of benefits. On the Dragon Soul Crystal, the 11th color was solidifying and becoming the same as the other colors. When the 11th color is fully formed, the Dragon Soul Crystal will truly surpass the 10-color legend. Lin Moyu doesn't know what to call the 11-color Dragon Soul Crystal, and there is no record of it in the Dragon Clan. After this experience, Lin Moyu has a new understanding of the burning world fire. In the real world, being burned to death by the burning world fire will not be refined into a soul crystal. If you want to obtain a soul crystal, you can only enter the soul void. In this way, the burning world fire is indeed a weapon in the soul void, just like the Dao Jing fire. But the burning world fire can also refine the world and refine the world into a world crystal, which is better than the Dao Jing fire. What is the origin of the burning world fire? It is so powerful. Is that mysterious master really a person in the big world? How can a person in the big world obtain such a powerful flame? It's really strange. Thinking of the mysterious master, Lin Moyu thought of his own big world and small world. The people who came out of the small world and entered the big world before disappeared. Several Tianzuan who came out of the big world and entered the origin continent also disappeared. Are they still alive? Where did the small world go? How are they now? Thinking of this, Lin Moyu had a headache. 0.10. He clearly felt that there should be a pusher behind all things, pushing everything and controlling everything. But why is it so? Lin Moyu couldn't figure it out. Putting away the messy little thoughts, Lin Moyu's consciousness returned to the real world. Slowly opened his eyes and saw Gu Hanyu and Xiaomei drinking tea and chatting on the side. Looking at the two people, they didn't seem to be worried at all. Seeing Lin Moyu wake up, Xiaomei said with a smile, "Teacher is awake, you must be exhausted, come and have some tea." Lin Moyu smiled, "You don't seem to be worried at all." Xiaomei said, "I was worried at first, but later I wasn't." Gu Hanyu said, "Jinger's breath is stable, and we know you must have succeeded, so we are not worried, 0. Lin Moyu looked at Gu Hanjing. At this moment, Gu Hanjing's breath was not only stable, but also steadily rising. Seeing that she was getting closer and closer to the fourth realm of Daozuan, it was estimated that it would only take a few minutes for her to break through. Lin Moyu said, "Jinger survived a great disaster, so she will have good fortune in the future. This breakthrough is just the beginning. It is estimated that she will soon be able to break through to the 5th level of the Supreme Tao. Even the level is not impossible." Gu Hanyu asked, "What happened to Jinger?" Lin Moyu whispered, "She was entangled by a kind of insect in the soul void." He told Gu Hanjing what happened. Lin Moyu said it easily, but Gu Xianyu and Xiaomei felt a little creepy. It would be a terrible thing if there were insects crawling in their soul world. But Gu Hanjing actually found a way to survive in that situation and persisted for so long. If it weren't for her persistence, she wouldn't be able to hold on until Lin Moyu appeared and was finally rescued. Lin Moyu said, "After this battle, Jinger's heart of Taoism is firm, and her future achievements are limitless. It is almost certain that she will become the ancestor." Gu Hanyu looked at Lin Moyu curiously. It has only been a short time, and you and Jinger are so familiar with each other. Lin Moyu laughed. Hanyu, don't you know that your sister is very outgoing? She calls you sister affectionately, and Wei Wei can only bear it. Gu Hanyu snorted lightly. You sound very embarrassed. Lin Moyu smiled and didn't respond. At this time, he was no fool to reason with a woman. Suddenly, a breath rushed up to the sky and rushed out of the small courtyard. It resonated violently with the formation of Saishui Shindi. The great formation covering the Hanshui Holy Land roared continuously, and plum blossoms appeared from the formation. Gu Hanyu's eyes were filled with surprise. Han Jing has awakened her Hanmei bloodline. Xiaomei pretended to be mature and looked old-fashioned, naturally awakened Hanmei bloodline. It seems that the candidate for the next Holy Lord has been found. Gu Hanyu said, Mei Zhu, are you talking about Jinger? Xiaomei immediately corrected, Master's wife, don't call me Mei Zhu, my name is Xiaomei, not Mei Zhu. Master's wife should know that there is an unwritten rule in the Holy Land. If someone can awaken Hanmei bloodline when he is in the fourth realm of Dao Zun, then he is qualified to become the next Holy Lord. Now it just so happens that Master's wife is going to abdicate, and Jinger just happened to awaken Hanmei bloodline. Isn't this a natural thing? Gu Hanyu frowned. Looking at her appearance, it was obvious that she didn't know what Xiaomei said. Gu Hanyu murmured to himself, is there such a rule in the Holy Land? How come I don't know about it? Xiaomei said, maybe those ancestors didn't tell you, but it's normal. In history, there are few people who can awaken the Hanmei bloodline at the fourth level of Daozuan. Master's wife didn't awaken it at that time, right? Gu Hanyu did not awaken the Hanmei bloodline at the fourth level of Daozuan, and in the past hundreds of thousands of years, no one has awakened the Hanmei bloodline at the fourth level of Daozuan. Basically, those who can awaken the Hanmei bloodline all go to the Jiuji Glacier to awaken after becoming ancestors. Lin Moyu could hear that the Shi family valued their Hanmei bloodline very much. In fact, people with Hanmei bloodline have faster cultivation speed and stronger magic power. Gu Hanyu did not doubt Xiaomei's words. After all, Xiaomei was Mei Zhu in her previous life and must know more than herself. Gu Hanyu was already thinking about whether it was appropriate to let Gu Hanjing be the new Holy Lord. Lin Moyu saw Gu Hanyu's thoughts and laughed softly. If Jinger were to be the Holy Lord, she would be more suitable than you. Gu Hanyu looked over. Why do you say that? Lin Moyu said, you are strong but not gentle enough. Think about it. After you took the position of Holy Lord, the Holy Land was indeed much more stable at the beginning, but in the past few thousand years, has the chaos gradually increased? I have read the history of your Holy Land. When you just became the Holy Lord, it was also the time when the conflict with the Dao sect ended. In that war, the Hanshui Holy Land was lucky to win, but it also suffered great damage. At that time, some small forces in the Holy Land showed signs of being ready to move. At that time, you used tough means and killed decisively, suppressing several forces, so that those guys dared not have any other intentions. At that time, your approach was correct. But later you always maintained the means of killing decisively, which was a bit too much, and it did not do much good to the Holy Land. Lin Moyu said softly, as if telling a story, explaining a fact. Gu Hanyu listened to Lin Moyu's words and recalled what happened in the last 2,000 years. It was indeed the case. Her methods were too tough. In the last few thousand years, there have been more and more unusual movements within the Holy Land sphere of influence. Gu Hanyu whispered, I know that tough methods are not good, but sometimes, cutting the Gordian knot is the fastest. History tells me that indecision is even worse. Lin Moyu laughed. Who made you indecisive? The correct approach should be to win over a group and attack a group, letting the enemies fight each other. You are the king and should be the M on the wall. There is a game called cockfighting. When two chickens duel, have you ever seen the owner personally go down? Gu Hanyu had to admit that what Lin Moyu said made sense. She suddenly stretched, revealing her slender white neck, and at the same time let out a very tempting sigh. Anyway, I will not be the Holy Lord soon, and I can't control how the Holy Lords do things later. At this moment, Gu Hanyu seemed to have lost the aura of the Holy Lord and revealed a little bit of the posture of a little woman. Lin Moyu said, "Yes, you have accomplished your mission and you can retire. No matter what happens next." Gu Hanyu rolled his eyes at Lin Moyu. "You are just talking nonsense. Whether I am the master or not, I am still a member of the Gu family." Lin Moyu smiled and did not respond. "It was just a joke. Just stop when you are done. Don't go too far." A breath approached quickly, and Songzu and Bingzu came together. Gu Hanjing awakened the Hanmei bloodline, causing the formation to resonate, and the two were startled. The appearance of the Hanmei bloodline was a big deal, and the two rushed over immediately. Seeing the owner of the Hanmei bloodline, the two were both surprised and doubtful. Bingzu asked Gu Hanyu, "Holy Lord, is Hanjing okay?" Gu Hanyu nodded. "He is already okay. Not only is he okay, but he has also made great progress in his cultivation because of a disaster and awakened the Hanmei bloodline." Bingzu couldn't believe it. She had also seen Gu Hanjing's problems and had no solution. She couldn't help but ask, "How did Jinghan get better?" Gu Tsang answered from the side, "Need I say that? It must have been Lin Xiaoyu who did it. Who else can have such a great power besides Lin Xiaofa?" Gu Tsang has praised Lin Moyu to the sky. It seems that in his opinion, no matter what Lin Moyu does, it is not surprising. Gu Hanyu also continued, "It was my husband who cured Jinger." Bingzu, "Hanyu has something to ask. Jinger has awakened the Hanmei bloodline now. Can she become the new Holy Lord?" Bingzu didn't even think about it. That's natural. There are rules in the Holy Lord. As long as you awaken the Hanmei bloodline before becoming the ancestor, you are qualified to become the Lord. It just so happens that you are going to abdicate, so give this Holy Lord position to Han Jing. The Holy Lord position that others dream of is so casual in Bingzu's mouth, and he can give it to anyone he wants. I think so, just managing the ordinary affairs in the Holy Land. If there is a big event, it is still up to the ancestors to take charge. Who becomes the Holy Lord actually does not have such a big impact. Of course, the Holy Lord is still the master in public. Gu Hanyu's thundering methods in the past are still extremely terrifying in the mouths of the people. Gu Hanyu was still a little confused, but Jinger is only at the 4th level of Dao Zone. I am afraid that I can't suppress those guys. Those guys are from the inside and outside of the Holy Land. The 4th level of Dao Zone is indeed a little bit worse. Bingzu didn't care at all. Rules are rules. When Han Jing becomes the Holy Lord, this ancestor will sit by and suppress anyone who dares to disobey. Bingzu is the same as Gu Hanyu, who is decisive in killing. If anyone disobeys, he will be killed directly without even giving them a chance to explain. Gu Tsang said, "You old woman, can you stop fighting and killing all day long? If there is anything, you can sit down and talk it over." Bingzu snorted coldly, "What is there to talk about? Why keep those who disobey?" Gu Hanyu said, "Ice Ancestor, Hanyu has some ideas. Although you are right to do this, it is not very appropriate sometimes. My husband is right. Different means should be used in different periods. If Jinger really sits on the position of the Holy Lord, you should listen to Jinger on some things." Ice Ancestor looked at Gu Hanyu and pondered for a few seconds. She is the Holy Lord. The affairs of the Holy Land are naturally under her control. The ancestor is only responsible for taking action and not for anything else. Although it is still very strong, it is actually a compromise. Gu Hanyu saluted to the Ice Ancestor. Hanyu thanks the Ice Ancestor. The formation vibrated more and more violently, and countless plum blossoms exploded, and then a larger plum blossom was formed, rotating in the air. Such a movement attracted the attention of everyone in the Hanshui Holy Land, and even some people who were practicing in seclusion were awakened.